Oh, they changed the layout here. All right, folks, here's the Super Bowl. SOMIFA, this is not right. I'm on the wrong screen. Second down is 6, Tim. Looks like Nathan's got the ball to start. Are you good to go?
Good to go. So Atlanta's got the opening kickoff. They're at 2nd and 6 at their own 36. We've got Gibson in at running back at the moment. We'll see Dobbins and Singletary as well. 3 wide receiver look.
Nathan likes to do a lot of that 3 wide, Tim.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Long to Marcus Johnson. It's going to be incomplete, going on a 4 there. I think it could be a matchup situation sometimes with Nathan if he likes his third receiver matchup. I believe he goes 3 wide receiver a little bit more than standard. So he's got Dobbins in now, 3 wide receiver, 3rd and 6.
Yeah, he likes to take advantage of that matchups against the DB, anybody covered by a 4. But Brad's got a free safety 6, so that's problematic.
Yep. And we have a right linebacker who's a 0 containing the run for both teams. So you may see some left end runs from time to time on 3rd and 6 or so. Brett didn't have a lot of sacks. I didn't see, but here's a short pass, complete 11 yards. Evan Ingram coming up with the catch there. I didn't see a ton of sacks in Brad's stats, and the few games I watched of him, didn't see a ton of blitzing. Be the other way on the other side of the ball. Nathan had 50 sacks, does not have a great pass rush naturally, so it's mostly a scheme thing. He will use the free safety blitz. Here's a dump off. It's going to go for 4 yards to J.K. Dobbins.
Fred, I guess, relying on his ratings more, and they're pretty damn good ones.
Yes. Antonio Gibson in, 3 wide receiver set. Could be something he's just going to do for a series or 2. We'll see how it progresses throughout the first half here. There's a left flat to Ingram being double teamed. Jesse Bates, pickup of 1.
Well, the 4 there, not the 3. That was big.
And it's a big deal. Go ahead.
I mentioned Brad having good defenders, but the linebacking core is only 5'4" against the pass. You go 3 wide. I think Brad's at the full 3-4. You can hit those flats with the white dice 6s.
Exactly, and that would have been a white dice 6 without the double team, so big deal there. There's Dobbins in, 3rd and 5. Double team on Ingram, look into Ingram. So here's back. It's just going to put 1 man in the zone, and that's going to be a big deal. 20-yard pickup for Ingram there.
The linebacker double team by the middle linebacker vacating the zone there, Tim.
Yep, so no man in zone, and since it was a flat pass, it's not going to help at all. There's a short pass to DK Metcalf. It's going to be another dump off. It's going to be a pickup of 13 to Ingram. Up to 4 catches, 45 yards early. Looking at a 2 tight end set now inside the 20 with Dobbins.
No carries yet for Dobbins.
Soft tackle right, guess wrong. Gets the block from Morgan Moses, a 6. So it's going to set up 2nd and 4. Singletary, or rather, Dobbins had over 1,400 rushing yards. So ton of production out of the rookie.
Full house backfield, but Dobbins not in there because he's not that good. Guess right. Inside the 10 here, 2nd and 4.
We've seen Gibson in some of those spots in some of Nathan's games this year, where if it's a single back, short yardage, and there's a 7-yard pickup for Singletary down to the 2 in first down. Full house, but he's keeping a receiver out there, Metcalf, instead of doing the 2 tight end. So linebacker, it's Minshew, and he's in. Mustache hairs just got over the goal line there, and it's 6-0. And we're going to see interesting. We're going to see an extra point attempt here from the kicker. We saw Nathan very aggressive in some earlier games this year with the 2-point conversion.
I'd have to check what Brad's inside linebackers look like. What his free safety is against the run. Those could be factors inhibiting Nathan from going for the 2.
And that's what Nathan actually has. He's got a couple 6 linebackers on the inside against the run to kind of help cover up for their nose tackle 4. And he's got zeros on the outside against the run. So he is showing blitz right off the bat on the first play. He kind of backed off of that in the last game. We talked to him a little bit in the post game about that. And he mentioned he kind of backed off as the game went on. Here's first of many yards for Jonathan Taylor. He picks up 5.
All that great run blocking for the Bears offensive line. I have a little hard time with my mouse, so I can't quite check the pass blocking too easily.
He's running a 2 tight end set early in the game here. He's got A.J. Brown over at the split end and Michael Thomas at flankers. A couple of solid tight ends. Schultz not nearly as good as Waller, of course, but solid enough, and he gives you a 5 run blocking on a team that wants to run. So
I'm glad you said it was A.J. Brown. I saw that A. Brown at receiver. I'm thinking Antonio.
first thought I saw, I was like, no, it's not Antonio. I remember looking at this team, and first thought is that's kind of a duplication of Michael Thomas. There's a long pass. Going to be complete. Matt Ryan, 29-yard pickup on his first toss of the day. A.J. Brown, first-round pickup last year by the Bears.
Looks like 12-18 deep in A.J. As a rookie, I'm pretty sure he had 15-21. He had a better rookie year than a second year, I believe.
Yeah, actually, Tom, I think he is 21 this year. Guess wrong. So
I'm gonna count it wrong. Okay.
No problem. And we've got a 2nd and 7 coming up. 3-yard pickup to Schultz on the Atlanta 38. So punter just kind of
No, he's 12-18. He's 12-18 deep, Tim.
I'm sorry?
Brown is 12-18 deep. He's not maxed out.
Oh, okay. Okay, I miscounted then. So 12-yard pickup for Jonathan Taylor down to the 26. It's a 33-yard pickup. It's going to be a 26-yard touchdown. Brian Cowart unable to make the play. Would have taken a 5. And Jonathan Taylor rumbles in and Carlos Santos on and ties the game.
I think these guys have a fight to catch, Tim. The play calling fast and furious. Nathan's going fast, and then Brad going lightning fast. There, you had no chance to call that play.
I was going to mention before we got started that both these teams run the ball, so this may not be a long enough game for all the commercials to get put into the Super Bowl as normal. 7-yard pickup for Dobbins there on first down.
He's taking care of the day.
3 wide receiver set, and Nathan always with a strong center, so he's still able to run those line bucks on 3-3-5 and do pretty well with those. Here's a look in. Tyrone Johnson picks up 7.
Nathan gets more usage out of those low catch, high average receivers than anybody in the league.
Yep. He and Marcus Johnson. You didn't have to spend a lot for these guys. I think Marcus Johnson went in round 4 or 5, and I don't remember. Is at least the 4th round, if not later, that Tyrone Johnson went this past draft. So it's going to be 8 for Dobbins. 3rd and 2 coming up. 3 carries, 21 yards early.
There was a flat pass interception split incomplete, right, 2 to 3 or something like that on Minshew's card on the previous play on 1st and 10.
Yep. A lot of guys will get picked on that roll. So then run Singletary is going to get the 5 needed to get the first down, and Atlanta's out to their own 42. We're under 4 minutes here in the first quarter. Now he's in a 2 tight end set with Dobbins. I think the single back guess right effect of Dobbins is going to keep him out of 3 wide receiver with Dobbins. He'll typically go with Singletary or Gibson, in my opinion, just based on the differential of Dobbins guess right and wrong.
Sure.
3-yard pickup, so 2nd 7 off tackle Dobbins. It's going to not get the linebacker play there. Kenneth Murray's a 5, but it was a white rule 6. So it's going to set up 3rd and 3. 5 carries for Dobbins early. Spreading them out with Gibson, 3 wide receiver. Gibson, a good receiver as well. Mostly for catches. He doesn't have extraordinary yardage, but he does catch well. There's a line about Gibson. Guessed wrong. It's going to get 7. Sebastian Joseph Day is a 5 compared to a 6.
Nathan knowing the cards there, I think, a little bit, because even if he failed that roll, that's going to be a first down. He's only killing you on nose tackle 4 or 12 if he makes the play. Nose tackle 2 and 3 reading, you're still getting the first down.
Yep. And most of your, there's a 5-yard pickup for Gibson. Most of your loss there going 3 wide receiver is losing your chance of a 4 guard block. Those would be a big deal if you lost that +1 or +6 or 0 or +5, but he got the guess wrong. He wanted it anyway.
And of course the white die won.
It's long to Marcus Johnson again. Nobody deep, covered by 4. Defender extra long gain. He's going all the way. 61 or 39 yards for the touchdown. Marcus Johnson.
And there it is. What Nathan will tell you, he likes that third receiver can go deep. Most guys have an extra defensive back 4, and they will move the safety about and double team elsewhere. And he pounded it right there for the big touchdown.
Yep. And a lot of us, so of course the rules changed now. We're looking at, do you have a dot, or you a guy that's got like a 32-yard long? That really affect how much you want to throw deep against bad defensive backs. So here's Jonathan Taylor facing blitz.
Nathan will make sure he's got a dot or at least a 50-yard reception or something on that third guy.
Exactly. And like you saw with Dallas this 2022 or 2021 season, incomplete to Michael Thomas, guess right. You've got a real threat to complement your run game if you've got those guys that can hit long gains on short passes with 6 or more, say, long gains, and it's one of the advantages. Here's a incomplete with 2 men in zone. Nice call. 3rd and 10.
Quick 3rd and 10 here for the Bears.
Showing blitz 3-3-5, staying in a base set. And A.J. Klein again up on the right linebacker is a 0 against contain, but the middle linebacker could always slide over and be a 6. Taylor Rapp, his free safety, had a double-digit sacks, so that tells you that he likes to blitz, or there was a lot of reassigned sacks this year.
Is he going to come with it?
He's got a free safety blitz, it looks like. Yep, and pick up 2, so it's going to be 4th and 8 from their own 27. We'll see the punt, and Tom Cook will take over the play-by-play at this point.
All right, guys, we're trying something new this game. We're going back and forth, alternating quarters with the play-by-play, kind of baseball style, to do a couple innings at a time. So Tim did the first, I'm doing the second. We got the Falcons leading the Bears 14-7, the SOMIFA Super Bowl. I got the play-by-play. Tim's got the color. 1st and 10 for the Falcons, going 3 wide. Linebacker Antonio Gibson, white die 1 from the 3 wide is only a gain of 1. Makes 2nd down and 9. Nathan has been running 2 tight ends or 3 wide, and he has not been stopped. We will have a first-time SOMIFA champion today, right, Tim?
Exactly right. Brad went to a SOMIFA championship once, and this will be Nathan's first game.
Off tackle right to J.K. Dobbins. He gains 4. Sebastian Joseph Day makes the play. 3rd and 5. Nathan's been aggressive using Dobbins carries early, which is kind of not a bad move, because a lot of guys feel like, I don't think you're going to use those carries early on a low carry back who's good. I mean, he'll get pass more often, so he's getting the benefit of some wrong calls. 3rd and 5 here quickly for Nathan, his own 40. He goes 3 wide. He will go deep here if he wants to. Red might go for the free. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, 3rd down, you're not as worried about a -6 guess right compared to 1st or 2nd down.
True. Well, but Marcus Johnson, Brad keeps the safety home this time. That's the safety 6. Quarterback flush in the pocket, dump off his 1st down for 7 yards to Dobbins. He got some decent yardage for a running back there on the 8 and 9 roll, certainly. His 3rd catch of the day for 15 yards. Minshew 9 of 11, 106. The Falcons up by midfield. They're leading 14-7. One of these men chasing that coveted SOMIFA championship. You know all about that, Tim, having got your ring last year.
You get to a certain point where you're starting to almost like doubt your process a little bit after a while, but just kind of stick with it, and that's what Nathan's done.
Tell me about it, says the Sam Darnold owner. Short game run left for J.K. Dobbins, 12 yards in the first down. There's again that guess wrong call because Dobbins only has, what, maybe 13 unfatigued, perhaps?
Yeah, it's about right.
First and
One
10
of the
Falcons
things
at the
I thought
Chicago
in
41.
the game
Go
against
ahead.
Dallas, Singletary really sparked their offense, I felt.
Well, that's another reason I think that Nathan doesn't mind using Dobbins early here. He knows he's still got Singletary and Gibson. So even if he uses up a lot of Dobbins carries early, while Brad's saying, go ahead and shoot those Dobbins carries, Nathan says, if I burn him out and get low with him, I still got Singletary and Gibson. I still have a good ground game.
Exactly.
2nd and 6 of the Falcons out at the Bear 37. Linebacker Gibson gets right from the 3 wide. No tackle 3 or 7, but he gains 3. He's still going to get at least a couple of yards in that defensive card on the linebacker most times from the 3 wide, no tackle, no men. So you're not likely to get totally stymied, and that helped them move from 2nd down and 6 to 3rd and 3. Now the Chicago 34 could be 4th down territory, probably will be. Flat pass right, Tyron Johnson gets a linebacker 5, corner 5. And the 3 short game gets right and wrong, 16 yards from Minshew to Johnson. First down Falcons at the Bear 18-yard line. 10:30 to go in the second quarter. Minshew 10 of 12, $122. And he goes 2 tight ends with Dobbins. If you're running left this formation, there's an off tackle right to Dobbins. One linebacker there. Plus 3 gets wrong. 8 carries, 47 yards for Dobbins.
Good play by Brad there to shut down the bigger play with no men. Would have been 11.
Yeah, that's quite a difference.
And had, by chance, he ran a draw, that would have been a touchdown.
2nd down and 7. Off tackle right to Dobbins. One linebacker that gets wrong, 8 plus 3. Just missing the 6 and 7 short gain. So it's 3rd down and 4 for the Falcons at the Chicago 12. You're almost kind of glad to stay outside the 10 here. So he still has to worry about defending the flat pass.
Yes, it brings the dump off back into play, but you're right.
3rd and 4. Yeah, the dump off as well. 3rd and 4 for the Falcons. 2 tights. Singletary in there now. He's better guess right than Dobbins. He's got the right tackle 6, the center 5. Otherwise, all 4s of the run blocking line. We know Kenneth Murray's an inside linebacker 5. And Mouse is just giving me issues with trying to hover. So you got to luck in learning what the other linebacker run ratings are.
He's got a 4 right inside linebacker. First
we got an Ember right to Singletary. Offensive line to tackle 5 0. 5 yards and a first down for Singletary. Morgan Moses makes another good block. He's a 6. Yes, I didn't realize he was 6. Okay. 4. I was like, Morgan Moses. Okay. 4 carries for 21 yards. First and goal to 7. Ember right Singletary gets wrong. Linebacker that block back plus 1 to -4. -4. Gabe Friendly Neighbors cannot make the block. He is a 5 white dice 6. Oh my goodness. I was going to say the blocking back is so important on the pitch outs. Go ahead, Tim.
You're right. You get a little help on like line bucks on 1 yard difference, but otherwise it's mostly in run. You'll get the benefit there.
Yeah, 5 or 6 yard difference, and it can kill you if you don't miss the block. If you miss the block, even with no linebacker, I think it's a -3. 2nd and goal for the 11. Short pass to Noah Fant. 3 men there. 1 blitz on. Minshew there. Defender short game. Beats the defender. Touchdown. That's going to be a white dice 6 against Jalen Smith's 4. And the Atlanta Falcons have got 3 touchdowns and 3 possessions to start the Super Bowl. They're up 21-7 as Nathan Baylor seeks his first SOMIFA championship. The kickoff goes deep in the end zone, and he's not wasting any time. This is not a Tom Cook, Michael Reeves special here with the speed of the game, Tim.
Yep, big lead early for Nathan.
Off tackle left, Jonathan Taylor. You know, it was interesting to me. You mentioned the linebacker 0, right linebacker for Nathan. Brad ran that M run with Jonathan Taylor on 3rd and with containment, 3rd and long. Last time he had the ball. But John Taylor's not very good at the end run. So you don't really get the big benefit there of that linebacker zero. Short pass Darren Waller against the free safety blitz. Dump off complete for 10 yards and a first down as Matt Ryan was under pressure. My stuff is not really. Move that over a little bit. There we go. That was a 0 on an 11, Tim. That was a 1-56 sack. But Nathan couldn't get home with Taylor Rapp, who you mentioned at 10 sacks. I bet you dollars to dollars a lot of those were on the free safety blitz and none of the reassignment.
Exactly.
Second and 9, Bears, their own 40. Off tackle gets right to Taylor. Brad's calling plays really super fast. I wonder if they're scripted. 7:58 for Taylor. I forgot he had the big touchdown run.
Yeah, and we have a trademark alert coming here. On the previous play, Jonathan Taylor had rolled a 5 on the run, which Tom Cook has famously described as
the dreaded 5.
Yes, trademark.
Yes, that has made its way into the vernacular, it seems. 3rd and 1 here. The Bears go with Mike Davis and Durham Smythe. So no Jonathan Taylor here. Linebacker Mike Davis, defensive goals run, one linebacker in zone. Blockers roll 5s. 10 is +1. Davis getting the favorable spot from the ref. 1st and 10 for the Bears up there on 49, 4:48 to go. Interesting here because the Bears would like to score, of course, and take as much of that time off that clock as they can because Nathan, you'll give Nathan a chance to come right back and undo your good work with the score there. Screen pass over the middle to Darren Waller, 4 yards for a completion, makes it 2nd down and 6 for the Bears at the Atlanta 47. Flat pass left, Darren Waller, defense is wrong, 2 linebackers there. Incomplete, would have been a white die 5. I think that linebacker is a 5, so it would have only been a +1 anyway, I believe.
Yep.
That's a +1, a +6 reading. He's only a 4, would have been 6 yards. So big play there by Nathan. 3rd and on defense, 3rd and 6 for the Bears. They go 2 tights, 2 wides, and 3 wide, keeping the run more alive. But Dennis says you don't get the extra. You make it easier for the defense to double team against you when you stay in some version of base formation. Off tackle left to Taylor. Offensive defensive end +2, +9. Everson Griffin could not make the play. He's a 0. Now, is he in there every down? No, it looks like he's got a 4 starting, so he's not 4 would not have made the play. But 3rd and 6, Nathan went for the 0, even with red and base formation. Flaps right down Waller. Defense against is wrong. Receiver snake eyes +18. Could have been more dangerous. I think Waller might have a bigger number somewhere there. I mean, the card's very, very good, but 2 or 12, you might get something good, like a +27 or something, but no. But still, Brad will take that. 1st and 10 for the Bears at the Atlanta 20, 2:42 to go. Looking past Jonathan Taylor, 2 in the zone, 5 complete for 6 yards. 2nd down and 4 at the Atlanta 14, and Brad doing what he wants to do here. 2:06 to go. A lot of guys will run the ball in this spot. Defense shows blitz. Might get a run key here, Tim, if he thinks that Brad's going to run it, try to force him back into containment.
Exactly.
Flat pass left to Taylor, 1 linebacker there. The short gain, 12 yards, 1st down the 2-yard line. Nathan had flooded the other 2 zones, and Brad picked the proper zone, the one that was only guarded by 1 linebacker, and he benefited by getting the white die 6, short gain, 12 yards, and a 1st down the 2-yard line. He's at the 2-minute warning now, so it'll be a lot harder for Nathan to get a touchdown when he gets the ball back.
And the Bears get the second half kickoff.
That is very important, of course. 21-7 here. Fellas backfield, linebacker Matt Ryan. Offensive right guard +4-0. Mike Upati makes the block. He's a 6. It is a touchdown, Bears. 6 on the bump up. 21-13. He tries extra point for Cairo Santos. Oh, 12. It's blocked. It's already blocked and returned, but not returned for a touchdown and 2 points, Tim, which would have been interesting.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Brad violated the Dennis Crowley theory that you need to count to 5 on your kicks. They're less likely to be blocked. So.
Yeah, well, I think it's mostly a field goal. I think even Dennis will kick the extra point quickly unless the guy is bad. That was 2-11. Hope it's not a bad omen for my SSFA team, which picked up Mr. Santos. But it's 21-13 now. We'll see if the extra point miss looms large. They often can. The Falcons at the ball, and here's what J.K. Dobbins is so dangerous.
Yep.
You got 1:45 to go and 3 timeouts at your own 25. Do you want to get? He's been running Dobbins off tackle, but now the end runs might come out. Off tackle of Dobbins, defense guesses wrong. 4, 6, and 7 to short gain. There's one. 6 is short gain, 2 snake eyes, 20 yards. 10 carries, 70 yards for the rookie from Ohio State. Right, Tim?
I do not know that.
I think Ohio State. Yes, definitely Ohio State. What am I saying? 1st and 10, even though I don't follow college football. I do watch the highlights, as you know, Tim. 1st and 10, the Falcons at their own 45, $1:22 to go. They have 2 timeouts. They're up 21-13, looking for more in the first half against a normally stout Bears defense. We had left to the right to Dobbins, guessed correctly. Guard 7 and 2, only 2 yards. Ike Bodiger could make the block.
Staying in
Former
base
SSFA
defense,
Jet.
we're seeing.
Say it again, Tim.
Staying in base defense early in the drive.
2nd down and 8. 1:15 to go. Atlanta takes their first timeout. Base offense, first base defense here. And we're right to Dobbins, guess wrong. It's a very sexy card here on Dobbins. 6 is a short gain, 12 yards. Look at that. Emmer, he's got a lot of major losses, Emmer right. But the Emmer wrong card, Tim, for a modern back. 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 11, 12, 1, 3, 6, 11, 14. A lot of units of good things happening there.
26 chances of at least 8.
12 carries, 84 yards in the first half. He's not going to burn all his carries the first half, but it's working. I might get 28 points. 52 seconds left. They're at the Bear 41. 2 timeouts. Short pass DK Metcalf, even double teaming elsewhere. Metcalf covered by 5. Receiver gets right, incomplete. That would have been nice to get him down inside the 30. But instead he's going to settle for 2nd down and 10 at the Chicago 41. You've watched a lot of and called some of these playoff games, Tim. What kind of kicker does Nathan have? Pretty good, or?
Nothing that grabs me as spectacular. I don't think he has superhuman distance.
Off tackle right to Dobbins, gains 6 more. Makes it the 3rd and 4th, 35. Let's see if Nathan does here. If he goes, hurry up, or calls his 2nd timeout. It's a 15-second difference there. Might be a timeout here.
Yeah, actually, it's Zerline 2 through 6 up to the 42. So.
Oh, wow. So you got to get inside the 22. He does call the timeout, 37 seconds. And for this part of the field, Tim, it's no man's land, particularly when you read me that kicking card for Zerline, the Greg the Leg. So we'll see. This will almost certainly be fourth down territory, I would say, for Nathan. Dobbins, 13 for 90. He's out now. I don't know if he's fatigued. He's right around that territory right now. Singletary checks in, who did yeoman's work, as you said, earlier in the playoffs. Looking past the Tyron Johnson. Defender -3 or -1. Incomplete. 4th and 4 for the Falcons.
I think he kicks.
No chance.
Too much. Only 1 timeout left in 30 seconds. There's not enough to gain if you get the first down.
What's the field goal attempt?
2 through 6.
Oh, 2 to 6? I think he's going to go for it anyway. Oh, you're right. He's going to kick it. 52-yard attempt, 2 to 6. And it's no good. And here's the problem then. Now you give Brad the ball at his own 42 with Jonathan Taylor, 22 seconds, 3 timeouts. You might open up a field goal opportunity for the Bears. If you get a chance, Tim, let's see what his kicker is from long distance.
Sure will. Yeah, if he had missed on 4th down, he would have given him about the same field position. So.
Well, he gave another 7 yards because of the spot rule. And with this little time left, that makes a difference. Cool. Oh, Brad takes a knee. Oh, no, Brad.
Oh.
The Super Bowl, baby. You got 3 timeouts. What's his kicker for the long range? Not that matters now.
2 to 5.
Let the half expire. 2 to 5.
Yeah.
He had to get to 32. You got Jonathan Taylor. I would like to see something happen there. Throw a flat pass if you want to. Something. He only needed 26 yards with 3 plays to get to the 32-yard line. Tim.
Yeah, if you
want to be conservative, go ahead.
Yeah, you see Nathan doing a free safety blitz show. Hey, you've got a couple of options there of sniper scope or dump off, or maybe not dump off with that much time left, but still, yeah.
Well, yeah. If you want to be super safe, you can throw a flat pass, maybe hope for a wide die 6. You can certainly run with Jonathan Taylor, though you know Nathan is thinking about that and didn't even run Keem. If you don't worry with the long pass pick, maybe throw a short pass, hoping for the sniper scope. Like you said, you have some options there. You got 3 timeouts to get 26 yards. I'd like to see you call something on 1st down besides Matt Ryan taking a knee. And I don't know. That's not the way I would have played that. But of course, I'm not in the Super Bowl. Whereas Tom,
I was about to say, I agree with you totally. And it's became a tradition of the broadcasters of SOMIFA championships for the guys not in the game to bring up coaching suggestions. So we're staying right on par. I think I've done that before. And We all have. But that's exactly the way I'd look at it, Tom. I think you go for it, even if you burn 2 or 3 Singletary carries. You know,
Yeah, well, yes, Taylor, you mean? Yeah, for that was Brad. But yeah, he only needed 26 yards, and he had 3 plays, right? Because 15, 18, 1. He had all 3 timeouts. 26 yards and 3 plays is not that hard. You get if you get a flat, if you get a wide die 6 short game, 13 yards and first down, you're halfway there,
yeah,
or
and
a
he's
short
got
pass
like
completion.
he's got like a touchdown there too. He's got a plus
Up
62, I believe, off tackle. So
here we go. Tim, you're up for the second half.
okay, I'll take the third quarter here, and that's one of those things that you kind of look at. Brad has some returners, Keelan Cole and Isaiah Rogers, both good returners. Keelan Cole in the punt return, and Isaiah Rogers is a kickoff returner. Just missed his touchdown. Oh, big pick in the flat. What will the 4 yards? That was potentially right by that touchdown you get as a bonus in the flat zone. So
2 minutes in the
Chicago.
zone. There were 2 minutes in the zone there, and Chicago had the big advantage, get the ball to start the second half, and big turnover nullifies that in a big way.
Exactly right. And so we'll see Singletary early second half here. There's a short gain to get things started. Picks up 14,
He's
6
got
carries,
6 for
31
30.
yards.
The Falcon ground game is doing a great job. Singletary probably the lead back here this half, as you mentioned.
It's kind of what he did, especially in the third quarter against the Cowboys. So we'll see. There's a 2-yard pickup. DK Metcalf on the flat pass from Minshew. Minshew's 12 of 16, 135, 2 touchdowns. Nathan will not be fielding offers for Minshew until this game is complete. In run right, gets wrong. Singletary. It's going to be a loss of 2 yards. J.J. Watt making the play over there with a little help from a linebacker.
Still
J.J.
sporting
Watt
that
and Aaron
6.
Donald at defensive end on this team. Got about 6 Defensive Player of the Year awards between them. 3-3-5, 3 wide receiver, 1 running back from the Chicago 24. Dobbins with all those, and he is going to run it off tackle. Draw.
I just did a zip to the stream, Tim.
What's that?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, okay.
I had a zip to the stream, Tim.
Oh, hey, Zeb.
Hey, Tim.
Nice pickup there, 8 yards, and it's going to set up 4th and 2. And again, we're going to bring out the kicker here. I like this. Yeah, you try to get the separation of 2 scores anytime you get a shot. If I had the opportunity on 4th and 1 there, I'd probably go for it. But 4th and 2, yeah, I like that decision myself.
Yeah, I agree with that. You got to play the game. You can't always just say, "Oh, it's 4th and 1, so I'm supposed to go."
Let's hear your thoughts on the game so far, Zeb.
Man, Nathan's rolling. This offense is just clicking.
Yep, running game has just been excellent so far with both Dobbins and Singletary.
And Minshew too has hardly missed a beat.
Yep,
it's nice interesting now. Down 24-13. It feels like the spot where you might see a huge long game from Jonathan Taylor that gets Brad back in the game. We'll see if something like that happens soon.
Well, both players have been playing kind of the shell game with. They've been switching up their defensive ends quite a bit.
That was a long pass for no momentum to A.J. Brown, incomplete.
Ooh.
Got close, guessed wrong. Just missed his long game there. It's going to set up a 3rd and 12. Nice drive to end the first half for Chicago, but things aren't going their way early in the second half. They got the stop after the turnover, but offensively, it's not the start you're looking for.
And I've got to agree with you guys and Dennis. I don't really like the base formation in this situation here.
3rd and long, certainly not. Towards the double team.
Big pickup, 12 yards to Jonathan Taylor, just stretching the ball out over the chains. Now, I'm known for staying in base offense, but at 3rd and like 8 or 9 or especially 3rd and 9 or longer, that's not. I'm not going to stick in the base unless my second tight end is better than my 3rd wide receiver.
Yeah.
But I do like being in base on like 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. I'm perfectly willing to invite some run calls there, but I don't want to lose the run blocking or the single back right. So I tend to be one of the run-based teams in that situation. Here's Taylor picking up 8, getting a nice block there from Mike McLitchney.
So Nathan's not giving away like on that last play. You see, and also here he's got the two run defending defensive ends in the game, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to call run on defense.
Yep.
No, yeah, you can't be too obvious with that sort of thing.
And a good point made by Tom earlier. Taylor's not really a great end-run guy compared to his linebacker off tackle. So, as the game progresses, we may see more of those pass rushers at defensive end. And we're not.
Although in the stock leagues, the defensive ends only defend an end run, but in the draft leagues, you can get those defensive ends coming up on an off tackle run as well.
Yep.
And there is that big run you were talking about.
Yep. That's where Tom and I definitely felt you should run a couple plays at the end of the first half.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor just ran 42-yard off tackle touchdown, folks.
So Taylor with a long touchdown
run. He went for 1 instead of going for 2. He is 4-point lead still.
Yep.
Yeah.
No hesitation on that decision either.
No.
We've got Singletary, 2 tight end set here, 2 wide receiver, and run Singletary.
See, Brad is doing the same thing. He's switching up his one defensive ender a little bit too. Who is it? J.J. Watt, and who else is a 6 rated?
Aaron Donald.
No.
Aaron Donald.
No, on the other end.
It's J.J. Watt. Yeah.
It's J.J. Watt and Aaron Donald.
And who is this 4 rated defensive end he brings in sometimes?
I'm not sure.
Next time he does it, I'll let you know.
Okay. Off tackle Gibson. Pick up at 5, 1st and 10. Atlanta on their own 38 with a 4-point lead.
I'll tell you, huge time for Brad to get his first true stop here and force a punt.
There's a long run for Singletary, picking up 21, gets them down to the Chicago 41. Most likely gets them into a 4-down or field goal. Probably not going to see the punter on this drive now.
Not looking good for the stop after that run.
He's just going to keep pounding it on the ground until Brad calls run.
Yeah, we've seen very few run calls from Brad, and Nathan is definitely at least over 150 yards rushing here with still 5:24 to go in the third quarter.
3-4 and run Singletary gets right at this point 0. So Brad adjusts with the run call there. Would have been a 1st down. Nice call.
So this is a place where I don't have a problem with that base formation on offense, Tim.
Exactly.
Oh, sure. I love it here.
Absolutely. Especially this part of the field.
Yeah, lots to gain if you just get 4 even. So
because if you do that, you're in a good
huge 2 plays for the Bears here in this game.
Yeah.
To try and stay within 1 score finally.
3rd and 6, 3-3-5.
Get it back in 1 score.
It's got the Jesse Bates being a 6 as contained option here. He leaves a look in open. It's long to Marcus Johnson. We've seen a few of those. It's going to be incomplete. Guess right. We've seen at least 4 long passes to Marcus Johnson.
What's going to be here? Is he going to go for it? We're going to see a 54-yard attempt, 2-6. Nathan's thinking about those 2 options. I would go for it. The dump off still in play.
Up 4. It's definitely a thought. He's going to go for the field goal here. No good. So Chicago's going to take over at their own 44, down by 4, 4:12 remaining.
Brad's got a chance now to take the lead if they get a touchdown drive.
12 carries remaining, unfatigued.
Once, really.
Go ahead, Tom.
Okay. I was saying the Bears got a chance to take the lead after Nathan has basically only been stopped once, and we're in the late third quarter.
So 3-4 blitz being shown here. Still got the 4 at defensive end, so it doesn't have his pass rush package totally in here, but it's showing free safety blitz. 2nd and 10. It's going to be a flat pass right. Guess wrong. Michael Thomas with a nice 8-yard pickup gets Atlanta out to their 48. Or I'm sorry, Chicago out to the Atlanta 48. And Brad's Yeah, I don't know what the league average, probably 25 to 30 fourth down tries. Brad's a little under that, but he's, I think, around 20. So we may see him go for it if he doesn't make it here. Mike Davis in. Long to A.J. Brown. It's going to be incomplete, double teamed. Nice call. Nathan looking for A.J. Brown on that call, even though it was
Would have been a
32.
would have been a must run guess correctly, which even Matt Ryan could probably pick up 2 yards.
So he
He's
is going to go for it here. Definitely would think that's the call to make down 4 here at this juncture. This is Dalton Schultz or Michael Thomas.
I wonder if part of his
Davis.
decision to go for it is that he's having such a hard time stopping Nathan as well. So
yeah,
that could factor into it.
So off tackle left, guess wrong. He's going to get it. 4-yard pickup.
There you go.
So Chicago getting a nice drive going here with a ball Atlanta's 44. Open up a new set of options with the field position on first down here.
And it's tough to stop a decent offense.
1-yard pickup for Taylor is going to be 2nd and 9.
From getting 2 yards
for 119 for
down.
Taylor. See most of those yards in chunks. Short pass Waller. It's going to be incomplete. Donovan Wilson making the play.
2 plays made by Wilson in this drive in that situation.
Lots of us were afraid to draft Donovan Wilson too highly, giving his insecure job as a starter, but makes a big play there in the SOMIFA championship game. 3rd and 9. We'll see if we see a blitz being shown or not. Taylor Rapp is not going to help in containment. He's a 4-0, so he is showing blitz.
I don't want to see him run because that Taylor card is just not that good on it. 7 was no yards. It's not a, they're only benefiting for that outside linebacker 0 because Taylor's card doesn't really have the sexy end run yardage.
And it's a left end run. King Jonathan Taylor, correct key, and Tavarius Moore makes the play, knocking him back 3 yards, and it's going to set up a punt attempt from the 46. It's going to try to save that field position. It's a little bit long to go for it. I don't blame him for that with a 4-point game. We'll see if he gets the call. Oh, he does. Gets a real nice coffin corner kick. And that was a 41-yard punt down to the 5. Tom getting ready to take over the play-by-play. 36 seconds left. Antonio Gibson now in at halfback. We're seeing a 3-3-5. Marcus Johnson working on a 4. Linebacker Antonio Gibson. And it's going to be a short gain, 17 yards out to the 22. And I'll hand it over. Take it away, Tom.
All right. Thanks, Tim. We got the Falcons leading 24-20. Fourth quarter SOMIFA Super Bowl. One of the fastest, if not the fastest SOMIFA Super Bowls in terms of speed on the real world clock here. We're 45 minutes in. 1st and 10 for Nathan as zone 22. Antonio gives it in. Linebacker Antonio gives the pass. 1 linebacker in zone. 6 is short gain again. 14 yards on the first down. That's 3 Falcon running backs now with over 50 yards rushing. Dobbins with at least 90. So they've got to have about 200 yards running for the game. If someone wants to check that and slack us around, you could slack Tim if you want. Linebacker Gibson again. Defense gets the pass. 2 linebackers in 2 boxes rather in play. Double box in play, I should say. Blocking +5 and +2. McCoy cannot make the block +2. And the run calls have been few and far between for this Bears defense. They have to change that if they want to win this Super Bowl, because Nathan has shown the dedication to pound it. J.K. Dobbins in the game. I think he's a decoy. You have to take a right to Dobbins. Defense gets a pass. No one there. No tackle. +4 or +9. Sebastian Joseph Day cannot make the play. +9 in the first down. Dobbins over 100 yards. 15 carries, $1.07. You cannot rely upon your defensive lineman in a 3-4 to make the tackles, even if they're 6-5-6 here, and stop the other guy's running game. Flat pass left to DK Metcalf. Defense calls run. No linebackers there. Defender -3 or -1. Bashad Breeland in the 5 makes the play. Those 10 and 11 are flat pass women are killer rolls on these draft league defensive cards because nothing you could do about them, and you're losing yardage, and that's what happened there. Dobbins fatigued. Nathan throws him out there anyway. Well, he tried the end run wrong, saying I'll lose a yard to hit that Dobbins card. Is Brad going to call run? Is Dobbins a decoy? I think you see an M run here with Dobbins. M run right to Dobbins. Defense guesses wrong. Offensive on to him +2 or -1. a 2-yard gain. Evan Ingram makes the play. That's not what Nathan wanted. 11 was, I think, something sexy on Dobbins' card. 3rd and 11 for the Falcons at their own 46. 12 minutes to go. They lead 24-20. Nathan chasing that elusive SOMIFA championship. 3 wide, 1 halfback. Marcus Johnson. He's gone deep sometimes. The situation. You might see a flat pass here, though he doesn't like that on 3rd down and long. He's more of a short pass, long pass guy. And we're left to Dobbins. Defensive at -2 +3 loses 2 because of the great Aaron Donald. 6 on a 6. And the Bears will have another chance to take the lead. 4th and 13 for the Falcons. Their own 44. Crawford corner. Jack Fox 12. Crawford corner, 13-yard punt. Shank of all shanks. And the Bears start out beyond their 40 for, I think, the 3rd time since the end of the second, since late in the first half. And let's see if they can capitalize here. 1st and 10. Touchdown takes the lead for the Brad, as he also wants that SOMIFA title. Short pass wrong. A.J. Brown, receiver gets wrong, +14. Max down a short pass. 1st down for the Bears in Atlanta territory at the 43. 10:30 to go. No more end runs with Jonathan Taylor is what we want to see. I'm sorry, but he's in the Super Bowl. He's telling me, Tom, what do you know about it? When do you go look at Christian McCaffrey's card? Off tackle left to Jonathan Taylor. Defense gets his run. 9 is +4. 2nd and 6. 15 to $120. Like Tim said, it's been in chunks, most of it. But he's gotten some good, like +8 readings on a blocking, some stuff here or there, but not a lot of else on his own card and things like that. 2nd and 6 for the Bears. It doesn't feel like a consistent dominant rushing performance by Taylor, just the 2 big runs. 2nd and 6 for the Bears. Another big run would certainly change things. Looking past the wall, it's correctly double-teamed. It's a 1-yard completion. That was a white die 6. But Nathan does play 3-4, but he's been bringing up one inside. Not a lot of draw plays from the Bears. So that would probably have been +8 if Nathan had moved one of the inside linebackers like he often does. 3rd and 5 for the Bears, the Atlanta 38. Tim told us earlier their kicker is nothing sensational. So this might be 4-down territory, particularly if it gets at least 1 yard. No one run again. That card is not good at it. 2 tight end short pass to Jonathan Taylor. 3-minute zone. 8 is incomplete to Matt Ryan's card. Now he's got to face the same thing that Nathan did. 4th down and 5/6 beyond the 37, around the 37. You got to go for it here. I say, what's
Yep. It's 2 through 5, but just barely. Any wind kicking up in the variance is going to knock you out of it. So good call.
Yeah, they got it. And we do have good conditions here, I assume, for the Super Bowl. I don't know, Nathan. Ed needs to assign the neutral sites, but it's 4th and 5, and they're going to go for it. They stay base, which is interesting. Those inside linebackers are 6s for the Falcons. Is that what you're telling me, Tim?
Yep.
And I heard a click, but I didn't see a play. That was weird. And we had a timeout. No, it was a delayed formation release on my screen, but it's 3-3-5 showing blitz for the Falcons. That inside linebacker is a 6, you said, Tim? Yes?
He is.
Well, this makes it hard to run there. Look at Jonathan Taylor, one linebacker there. Linebacker, no, +20 +6. He makes the play. LJ Fort is a 5 on a 5, makes the play, 1-yard gain. And Nathan takes over. It's been defense coming to the fore in the second half. After it was all offense in the first half, it's only a 7-3 second half score. 8:42 to go. Nathan's got the ball zone 37. Now you feel like his offense will put it together. And right, Singletary guessed right. Go ahead, Tim.
I was just going to say the Bears have done a good job regaining their defensive footing since they fell down 21-7. Nothing but field goal attempts and a punt since then.
That's right. And that time they called run correctly. The defense scored, but still, it's good to let the offensive coach know, I will call run on you. And right to Singletary guessed wrong again, but Nathan's pounding it. 7 is 5 yards. 3rd and 3. 7.5 minutes to go before we determine the 2020 card set SOMIFA champion. 2020 season, that's how Ed calls it. 3rd and 3. Gibson is in. Linebacker for the 3 wide. Might we see another linebacker with the white die? Nathan has not been shy about that. Could be a bomb to Johnson. He likes that in these situations. Linebacker to Gibson. One linebacker there. Center +10 +3 yards. That's the 1st down, even though he missed the block. And again, Nathan knowing the cards and saying there's a lot of good things to get there, even though I've got the white die to deal with. 9 carries, 57 yards for Gibson. 6:54 to go. Falcons leading 24-20. A field goal would be interesting. I did call dibs on the overtime, Tim. Looking fast to Ingram. Run call by the defense. Only a 2-yard completion. So Nathan is finally forcing some run calls here from the Chicago defense late in the 4th quarter. 2nd and 8 Falcons at their own 49. 6:18 to go. Minshew only has 19 passing attempts. Short pass to Noah Fant. 3 minutes, guess correctly, must run, and the mustache scrambles for 4 yards. Sets up a 3rd and 4 for the Falcons at the Chicago 47. There's been a lot of 3rd and 3s and 4s for the Falcons tonight, and they've done a nice job converting them with calling the correct plays. They've been called wrong in a lot of those situations. A lot of the times they've run the ball there. Singletary in there, 2 tights. I think we see a run. Will Brad call a run in this spot? This is a big spot here. And Brad has not called run these spots before. If he calls it now, it could turn the game around. Flat pass right to Tyron Johnson. Defense calls pass. Linebacker there. +3 on the defense is called 4th and 1 for the Falcons. The Chicago 44. 5 minutes to go. They're up by 4. I don't know. I might punt it here.
I might, yeah, and I probably would have a few years ago, but I think you go for it. I don't know, you're really leaning into a win if you can pick up the first down here. If not, you're not giving up field goal range immediately. He's still got to get 20, 25 yards. I think I go for it here.
Yeah, I don't know. He needs a touchdown to take the lead. If you punt it, I'm usually an aggressive go for a guy, but if you punt it, he's going to go for it. Probably the right call.
Yep.
3 wide, 1 halfback. Tony Gibson in there. Boy, a linebacker is risky. Gibson's not the best guess right either. There's some 0s and -1s in that card.
Got Minshew, tough double team to make here because that means you're using your middle linebacker and your free safety, leaving the middle linebacker or look-in zone open. So
I tell you, Minshew linebacker 2 to 7 still a first down on the white die. That might be a decent call.
I do think that's. Really...
Go ahead, Tim.
I was just gonna say, I think that's the call that we would kind of look at here because that's a real tough run key to make.
Yeah, it'd be very. It requires testicular fortitude. It's one of my old drill sergeants would say.
And Gibson's being not great guess right, as you mentioned.
Gibson, yeah, yes. Here we go, 4th and 1. Nathan's play call is in. Chicago deciding what they want to do. He could do the old free safety, have to look and slide the looking out to one zone. I can't call run even unless he put that safety in there. So that's a good formation approach by Nathan. He's got no 6s at linebacker. You look at bets, it gives a guess wrong. Defense calls run. Receiver incomplete. Oh my goodness. Receiver guess wrong. He was maxed out. Well, semi-maxed out. 7 only on the flat pass wrong. It's incomplete. Looking past no man, incomplete to the receiver, gets wrong on 4th and 1. And the Super Bowl may be turning on that play. As the Bears have got 4:48 on the clock. They're down by 4. They need a touchdown. They're at their own 44. Short pass, Darren Waller, correct double team by the linebacker. Dump off complete for 10 yards of Atlanta territory. Just like that. 1st and 10 for the Bears, the Atlanta 46. They need a touchdown, though, to take the lead because they missed that extra point earlier. Otherwise, it'll only be a field goal to tie. Could be a big run from Jonathan Taylor on this drive here. Flat pass right to Taylor. Guess wrong. 2 linebackers there. Receiver guess wrong. +14. Look at that nice yardage for Jonathan Taylor on the flat pass wrong. And the Bears at the Atlanta 32.
9 unfatigued carries left for Jonathan Taylor, but he's been watching the Cowboys using Derrick Henry out of the backfield.
Off tackle left to Jonathan Taylor. Long gain, 35-yard touchdown. 32-yard touchdown for Jonathan Taylor. He's got 3 big runs, 16 carries, $152. And the Chicago Bears have reclaimed the lead. They've taken the lead for the first time, I believe. 26-24. They're going to try the extra point to make it 27-24. If Santos 2-11, already missed 1. It's up and good. Brad says that was too fast. He's worried about it. 3:18 to go. Kick goes 9 yards deep in the end zone. Brandon Powell will take a knee. And 3:18 to go. The Bears lead the Falcons 27-24. Falcons have the ball. After missing that 4th down and 1 at the Chicago 44, roughly, they're at their own 25. They need a field goal to tie. They've got a shaky Greg Zuerlein, I think. Even 23-32, I don't think is that great. Is that what you're telling me, Tim?
I don't remember that range, but it was 2 through 6. Up to about the 42.
Okay, I got you. And we're wrong to Devin Singletary. 1 linebacker there. 8's a short gain, 15 yards in the first down. Nathan says, I'm going to stay with the ground game. I've got time to do it. And this could really hurt Brett if he concedes the run too much here on this drive because Nathan is not shy about running and he's already at his own 40 and he only needs a field goal to tie. If you get a chance, Tim, look at Zuerlein 23-32, please. Flat pass left to Singletary. Defense gets the pass against the linebacker 4. Snap fumbles occurred. Recovered by the offense. Oh, my stars and garters. Gardner Minshew is at 2.8 on the snap fumble, which anything above 1 seems high nowadays. Just ask
Very
Derek
s-
Carr, my assistant quarterback.
Yeah, 2 through 10 to the 32. This
There
is
you
a very
go.
similar Super Bowl to last year, where the team behind's got the ball down 3 with a couple minutes left.
2nd and 11. So it was a huge snap fumble, but recovered by Nathan. That would have pretty much ended the game. Short pass wrong to Noah Fant. 3 linebackers there. 6 complete for 13 yards at the first down. The play action pass. Nathan been pounding on the ground. And Brad says, I'm not going to concede the run this time. I called on 2nd and 11, which is not a bad move by Brad. And he gets burned for the first down. 2-minute warning. Atlanta to Chicago 48. Short pass right to Noah Fant. Incomplete. The same roll on a 6.
Minshew bouncing back from the snap fumble there.
That's right. He has no conscience. 2nd and 10 for the Falcons at the Atlanta 48. 1:52 to go. They've got all 3 timeouts. They trail by a field goal. Emma right to Singletary. Nobody there. Guess wrong. He's been popping short gains. This time it's Morgan Moses for the key block. Offensive onside tackle 5-0. He's a 6. Makes all the blocks. That was the big one. Singletary closing it at 100 yards rushing. That would be the 2nd Falcon back today to get over 100 yards. And Gibson's north of 50. 3rd and 5 for the Falcons. 1:30 to go as they go hurry up. We're at the Chicago 43. We could have an overtime game. Could have a touchdown to end it. Could have a lot of things happening. And we're left to Singletary in 3rd and 5. That's the linebacker 0. 8 is 12 yards at a first down on the Bears card. 1st and 10 Falcons at the Chicago 31. Singletary goes over 100 yards. Dobbins over 100 yards. Gibson at least 57. So quick math tells you that's about 260 yards rushing right there. And Minshew's got a couple to boot. 1st and 10
Both
Falcons
teams,
at the. Go ahead, Tim.
I'll just say all timeouts remaining for both teams.
1st and 10 for the Falcons at the Bears 31. We're in zero line territory. Off tackle right to Singletary defensive pass. 8 is +7. Fred called run twice this drive. Otherwise, he's conceding it. And Nathan has been happily taking it. Taking those guess wrong run calls. And now he's only 24 yards in the end zone. And his elusive SOMIFA championship. Brad says, can I defend it? At least get me into overtime is what you want to do here as a defensive coach. Just keep him out of the end zone. 2nd and 3 for the Falcons at the Chicago 24. Off tackle right to Gibson. One linebacker there. I guess wrong. 4 is +9. A nice roll on Gibson's card. Not quite as good as the other 2 guys, but he got some good numbers there. And it's 1st and 10. He's at 66 yards. 1st and 10
Atlanta
for the Falcons
take a timeout here.
at the Chicago 15. Might go hurry up to 30 seconds. He will. So we can keep all 3 timeouts for the next play. But I know what you're saying. I think you're right. I think we would have gone timeout there looking at the options. 1st and 10 at the Chicago 15. Short gain could win the game. I mean, Brad will have to get the ball back with some time, but not enough to do much.
And Nathan does not want to give the ball back to Jonathan Taylor after watching
it. Right, guess wrong. I thought he gives it 4. 9 yards again. Replay of the previous one. And now you'll certainly see a timeout. 2nd and 1 for the Falcons at the Chicago 6-yard line. They trail 27-24 in the Super Bowl. 22 seconds left, 2 timeouts. They need a touchdown to win, field goal to tie. Nathan thinking, how can I safely get a touchdown? I don't know if Strat will comply with that. Snap fumble only 2.8, so that's nice. These running back fumbles look pretty low. Gibson not with the minimum, but only a bit worse than that. 4.2, I guess wrong. Short pass to Metcalf, run key elsewhere. Minshew dropped back to receiver, long game touchdown. Gardner Minshew to DK Metcalf, 6-yard touchdown pass. Makes it 30-27 Falcons, 8 seconds to go in the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons, they kick the extra point for Greg the Leg. It's up and good, 31-27, 8 seconds left. And the Falcons almost certainly win the Super Bowl here in 2022 for the 2020 SOMIFA season. Their first trip, probably their first title. 8 seconds left. He's checking to make sure he does the right thing here. And he squibs it. Mike Davis brings up to 35. The Bears got 1 shot. They're at their own 35-yard line. They trail by 4. There's 1 second left in the clock. They need a 65-yard touchdown. Taylor's got the long gains. You got a couple receivers there. He's just going to go Hail Mary. He's going to do a base formation and maybe go to Jonathan Taylor. We'll find out in a moment. The ball Brad's going, God damn it. What an excellent game. What an exciting game. A lot of back and forth, a lot of offense, a lot of big plays. Then it got into a defensive stalemate there for a while in the second half until things had to get going late. and then Brad scored his touchdown to take the lead. But the Falcons came back as Brad said too fast. He scored too fast. But it was a long game for Jonathan Taylor, so wanted to pull up at the 5. I don't know. It wasn't that little time left. There's still 3:18 left, so he goes 4 wide, 1 fullback. Jonathan Taylor. I don't know if he has fullback on his card. It could be controversial. And I see R. James. I think of Roland James. That's certainly not him. There's a running back for the Niners, like at the 70s and 80s or something like that in Buffalo, I believe. Or I think of the Niner corner. I think was Roland James. Who was the Roland running back of Buffalo? Was also on another team. Ronald Gant. Maybe think of Roland Gant.
I want to say you're running back for the Falcons, but
Long pass, Cortez Cephas, left for the Super Bowl, incomplete. The Hail Mary for Matt Ryan is incomplete. The game is over. 31-27. The Atlanta Falcons have claimed their first ever SOMIFA championship, their first trip to the Super Bowl. Brad's second trip to the Super Bowl is not able to pull off the victory, but he did a very good job in a 31-27 game. He had his chances. It was a great game. And let's see if we can get anyone on. Tim, would you mind slacking Nathan and well, he's going to come on anyway. The Studio One just disappeared. Bob Franklin says I heard some boos.
yeah, Zeb had an internet outage, so he might have dropped.
Oh, okay. I wonder what happened there. And look at this. Some of the stats here. 28 first downs for the Falcons. A lot of those on the ground. I'm going to assume it was. Oh, we got somebody popping on. There's got to be Nathan, probably Nathan, or there he is. Nathan Baylor,
Hello.
SOMIFA champion.
Yes.
You got to believe.
It's been a long time.
So how did you enjoy defending those Jonathan Taylor runs throughout the game? Just every now and then, if Brad needed it, bang, long game.
Yeah, I called a lot of run, and he still got 2 long gains, I think, against me, right?
Yes, and then he also beat your nose tackle for a long touchdown just to throw it in for good
that's
measure.
to be expected.
You know. But so congratulations, Nathan. You are the SOMIFA champion. How does it feel?
Feels good. Gardner Minshew.
Yes.
Makes me feel a lot better about that pick I made.
Yeah, there you go. Was he a first round pick for you?
Yeah, he was like 17th or 18th.
17th?
I almost took Eric McCoy. And I was like, well, what the hell? Let's take him and, have a good year and see how he does. And then I got McCoy anyway in the second round.
That's right. I think I remember that from a post-draft show. You were pounding the ball on the ground. He was not calling a lot of run for most of the game. Did you know coming in? Did you feel coming in? Was that something you picked up from him from other games or from his stats that Red is probably not going to call run, or from past experience playing him? Because well, go ahead and answer that question first.
Yeah, I played him in the fourth quarter, and I mean, a lot of coaches don't call a lot of run for starters, so it's not like it was some abnormal thing. He'll definitely mix them in, and it's kind of like how he mixes in double teams. Like he doesn't double a lot, but then he'll do it in spots. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
But he's got the personnel to call pass and just sit back a lot. He's got free safety 6, he's got 5s in coverage, and he's got a great D line. So really, the biggest weakness you'd think would be the flats and giving up big plays.
Yeah, but of course, I was saying during the game that even with that 6-5-6 defensive line, with a 3-4 defense, you really can't just sit there and call pass and expect that the D line is going to.
Well, the end run zone is actually pretty nasty for 0-minute zone gains. It's not bad at all. Even against the 6 D end, it's not that bad. I mean,
you're saying it's not that bad for the offense or the defense?
Running right, running wrong. It's the running right on your card is where you get slaughtered. That's why people don't want to do it. But if you got a pretty good running back that runs out there and doesn't get a ton of, that he still gets good yards, gets right, and you don't expect him to plug it a lot, you can make some, you can make consistent gains even
Yeah,
on
there's
the
only there's only really 5, I think, bad units there in that end run no linebacker column with a really good defensive end. You have to have a decent blocking back, which you did with with Neighbors when he was in there, but most of the time you didn't have that because 10 you can lose some yards. But 48 carries, 296 yards rushing.
I didn't even realize
48
that.
carries, 296 yards rushing. 2 backs over 100 yards. Gibson with 75 as well. We talked in the past. You were a little more of a passing guy. Or a few years ago, we were talking about that when I was throwing the ball around with Andrew Luck haphazardly. But the running game, let me ask you a question also. Something I was speculating on during the game. J.K. Dobbins got the ball a lot in the first half of this game. And I was saying you were using a lot of Dobbins carries in the first half, but part of that I was wondering, a lot of defensive coaches will see a guy like Dobbins in the first half say, okay, he's not going to run into him a lot. If he does, he's burning through his carries. And you were running him and having success. And I'm wondering, okay, he knows that Brad may be even more likely to call pass with Dobbins in the first half and let you burn through some of those carries, but you're getting the benefit of the guest run calls, and you still have Singletary and Gibson for the second half. What was your strategy in terms of running Dobbins particularly so often in the first half?
Well, I just like to put out. I mean, on that first drive, I think I threw like 8 straight passes or something. So, I was passing successfully, so that was pretty lucky. And I did get a 4 on in an open zone deep pass that I missed. That was the only pass I missed. But I feel like he knows I'll throw it down the field. He knows I've got guys that can make plays. And as far as the strategy with Dobbins, I'm just going to put out the guy that if they're not, I feel like if someone's not going to call a lot of run, they're going to do it more so early than they are late, I guess. They're just going to call a lot more pass early than late. So I don't know if it's necessarily a strategy. I just put the best guy out there to start running and see how it plays out. And I switched formations and in certain, downs and distances, I was rotating guys in. It's just that I was getting a lot of first downs, so you were seeing probably more of Dobbins runs on 1st and 10.
Congratulations, Nathan.
Thank you.
I've got a
Go ahead,
couple
Tim.
of questions for you. Jonathan Taylor being a runner who's better line bucking off tackle, you have a pair of inside linebacker 6s against the run. So containment is going to work for you. Did you factor that in some of your early down and distance calls that, hey, if I can keep Taylor in 3rd and 6 or longer, I can stop him or force him in run?
I don't think he really runs a whole lot of end run. He does maybe. It seemed like the only end runs, based just looking at his stats and some of the tendencies is like in 3rd and long or some of those sorts of situations. Maybe can't remember. Maybe there's some 2nd and long or something like that. I just wanted to call a lot of run and I wanted to flood the flats. I mean, that's what I was trying to do, and then just try to survive the other stuff. And mainly, I didn't want him throwing bombs to AJ Brown. That's the only thing I was really, because I can handle some short passes because I just didn't think that that's his game. That he's not going to do that consistently. So if he throws a short here and a short there, and even 2 or 3 on a drive, I didn't feel like, unless he showed me a whole drive where he's just going to go down the field short passing with some runs or whatever, then I was just going to keep calling run and keep flooding those zones.
You had a couple of interesting 4th and 1 calls that could have gone either way into the first half. You're down to 1 timeout, and if you make it, you're going to be low on time, but you've got a 2 through 6 chance of getting it there. So did that factor in the fact that you had 1 timeout and it's going to be hard to get 30 more yards even if you do make the first down there?
What situation was that?
Into the first half on 4th and 1, you went for the field goal attempt instead of going for it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a time constraint, and I felt pretty good about the way my offense was moving. I felt pretty good that my defensive game plan, even though I gave up a fair amount of points, was solid. So in those situations, I tend to probably just take the points more often, which I didn't go for 2 at all. I don't think the game. So that's also, and it also wasn't a great matchup for it. So
You had I guess, a tougher decision at the end of regulation on 4th and 1, and you went for a look in. You got to guess right or wrong. No men in the zone, but Gibson
Oh, yeah.
got his receiver drop on 7.
was
We
rough.
probably need to have something like the dreaded 5 for the inconvenient 7 on receiver rolls or something. But
Yeah, that was a rough one. I was not happy with that. And then he double team completed and 2
3
men in
plays.
zone completed on the D card, and then he ran a long gain, and I was like, oh my god, just 3 quick
plays.
plays.
Yes.
But then again,
what
I
were
was
you-
like, well, this is. I mean, if you tell me I'm down 3 and I got the ball with 3 minutes, I can handle that.
You in that situation that Tim just brought up, you had 4th and 1 is 44. You're up by 4 points, maybe roughly 6 minutes to go in the Super Bowl. Did you consider punting because he needed a touchdown? He would have had to go the length of the field. And how strongly did you consider it?
Not very. He has a nasty punt returner, and I don't know why I can't kick the damn ball out of bounds when I want to, but I just can't seem to do it. And then it doesn't help when you saw the one time I tried to punt it out of bounds, it went 13 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there like, I'm not doing this. I feel good about my call on 4th and 1, and it just didn't. I mean, it couldn't have been better, but it just didn't work out.
There is nothing worse than punting out of bounds to a good returner, and he gets to return it anyway. Which
And it's
that's the worst.
15 yards shorter than it would have been. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah. I think this is one of those situations where you feel good about coaching, but some of your GM moves over the last few years got to feel good too. You've been taking running backs. Some people say you shouldn't take running backs this high. You keep doing it over and over and over. You took Minshew. All those really factored into winning this championship.
Been pretty lucky with the running backs. Singletary, I'm pretty sure, was a early 2nd round pick. He could have been a late 1st. Gibson, I did take early in this league, and that was just kind of a weird draft, though. Like I had been thinking about trading up, hoping like Chase Young would fall, or because I think Ed, for instance, had talked about trading down, and I was like, I mean, I don't think Chase Young was going to go that far, but I had thought about it moving up. But then I started to like Gibson, and just figured, what the heck, I'll stay here and see what happens. Thought I might even get like Justin Jefferson just because receivers tend to fall. But and then Dobbins in the late 2nd round. I mean, Gibson's the only one I really took kind of high. And in this particular draft, I didn't really have to give up at that time what I thought was like a total blue chip player. You know what I mean?
Who, Dobbins?
When I took a Gibson like 9th overall or something like that.
I got you. Okay.
In the SOMIFA draft, it was like, I think people may have been projecting like Raekwon Davis or something like that. And I just haven't felt real hot about the nose tackles. I mean, you could say the nose tackles don't have the durability, lately, unless you can just get a guy that seems to be more established, I guess.
Let me ask you a question, Nathan. Coming into the season, I'm looking at your team now, and it's interesting to me. We've had some conversations in recent years, in the last few years, in various leagues, or to win this league, talking about defenses you can win with, defenses you can do things with. And I hadn't realized, even though I just called the Super Bowl game with Tim, your Super Bowl game here, that your defensive ratings really aren't that great. There's not a 6 on this defense. Both starting defensive end zeros. You've got, I would call, more kind of like a team that can get some pass rush. I know he had a lot of sacks, but it doesn't, on paper, it doesn't look like an intimidating pass rush. You don't have, 9s, 10s, and 11s on the defensive line, and you do have the 11 at left outside, but there's no asterisks. Not a lot of pressure on the inside. But there's definitely pass rush to work with. A free safety 4, outside linebackers aren't strong against the pass. And this is not a defense. I look at this defense, and I don't say championship defense. And then you get Minshew, a quarterback. I feel like this is kind of a validation of the ways you have approached team building and saying, I can get by on the cheap with certain things. I can get by on the cheap with a certain defense. I can still compete at a high level, and in this case, at the highest level, with a defense that's a little more kind of like assembled and doesn't have great ratings, but can do some things like rush the quarterback, as opposed to like needing a balls to the wall defense loaded with 5s and 6s and stuff like that. Coming into the season, what was your expectation for this team? And are you surprised that this team made the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl? I mean, you had a great regular season, but yeah, speak to those things, please.
Well, as far as the defense goes, yeah, I'd rather play with a defense that, I can bring some pressure if I want to. I can flood zones. The 3-4 lets me do that. I mean, these last 2 games, I did a lot of that, probably more than I've done in any other game this year. The last 2 games, but those linebackers on the inside are just nasty. They're really great for short yardage. They can actually, you can use them against certain quarterbacks too, that have a lot of short pass tendencies. I actually like the shadow. I might be the only one that ever does the damn thing, but I think it's a good defense against like that Lamar Jackson card last year, for instance, or if someone's using like Taysom Hill's card this year. I don't know how many passes he has, but I've seen it's used in some other leagues. So those 6 middle linebackers are crucial when your whole D line is just 4s and 0s. The pass rush with 5s, I mean, that's more than I can ask for. In Strat 28, I'm playing with a 4 and a 0 at corner and just blitzing like crazy. It's tough though. In this league, at least I don't have to just bring pressure all the time. I can actually do some things and rely on those 5s. So as long as it complements each other, if it makes sense, like the players, they match what you're trying to do or what you want to do, and what weaknesses you have and all that, like up against a tough blocking back or running back with some great maybe pass blocking, there's some weaknesses for sure, but a lot of people don't have them, and you can at least focus on those things.
Yeah, and if you're running against a good blocking back, you mean the running blocking back or receiving blocking back?
I'd say pass blocking and receiving, because of when they're a great pass blocker, obviously that puts a damper on your safety blitz. I mean, that safety's usually getting the best matchup of anybody. Maybe the second linebacker if he's good enough. And then go ahead.
Yeah, but I see what you mean about how it works together. And I was noticing that before, where because you've got all those 5 short pass defenders, it's like, okay, I can blitz a free safety, I can flood the flats with a free safety. All right, my nose tackles are 4, but both inside linebackers are 6s. If I pipe even one of those guys up there, that's not a terrible run defense situation for me at all. My defensive ends might be 0s if I choose to play both of them because of the pass rush, but I might be blitzing outside my linebackers anyway. So there's a lot of things you can do to create an aggressive defensive call. And I speculated a long time ago, and you and I spoke about this as well, that if you're playing with what I call the modern draft league rules, the stock card defenses, particularly average, and the dump off, you have to aggressively seek out stops. You really can't just stand around. You have to get the zones flooded, get the right double team, get some pass rush. You got to do some things to make it a lot harder for the offense to just roll, guess right with 3-minute short pass, or guess right with 1-man and flat pass, or even run guess right but no linebackers there. Stuff where there's too many ways for them to be successful. And with this style of defense, you get to do that, and you kind of if Rada forces you to do that. There's no way you look at this unit. You look at this unit, you're not going to be standing around with this with 0-4-0 in the defensive line, or even 4-4 in the defensive line. You just can't stand around. Obviously, you have to move guys around a lot.
Yeah, my defense overall, the scoring was pretty low. It looks like maybe 3rd or so in the league. I'm just
That's
taking
what I'm.
a look here.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing looking right here. Yeah, number 3 defense in the league with this unit. That's pretty amazing.
And I
But,
noticed you were at 50 sacks for the year, and Taylor Rapp was in double figures. So obviously, you use your strength in the secondary, fives across the board, to go a little more for free safety, and using the linebackers to kind of bump up the pass rush ratings when you did come sometimes. So you're not always, a 5 against the, offensive lineman 5. You can bump him up to a 9 if you bring a couple linebackers and such.
well, and that's the thing too. It's not like I was going to line up against some guy with 4.7s and just blitz the heck out of him. I mean, I'm gonna show it against guys that they don't like their quarterback deep pass because maybe it has too many picks on it, or it's not that good, or maybe they've got some weakness on their O line, and I'm going to show it to them constantly, and then I'll bring it if they start, because eventually they have to adjust if I'm not ever actually blitzing. But then I'll just start bringing it, and it's everything on both sides by both coaches is always reactionary, or you're expecting certain things, or but this team, I can cover flats by flooding. I can stop the run by putting linebackers up, calling run if I need to, and not be petrified that I'm going to have like a 4 or 0 at corner getting burned. There are some matchups where maybe I get someone on my outside linebackers that can give me real problems. But then again, those guys usually, when that happens, hopefully the rest of their O line's not that great. I'll just blitz, a lot, because I mean, either you're going to win or I'm going to win, but there's a lot of risk basically by both of us doing that. So it's not like it's just one person taking the risk.
And I've seen you put go ahead, Tim.
I was just going to say, you've built a team that is strong at tight end over the years. And like, I think both you and I and Tom, we all kind of feel like second tight end is more important than my outside linebacker or my, defensive end being a 5-5 instead of a 0-5. We feel more comfortable having that really good second tight end. And with Minshew being so good flat, that really gives you kind of a chance to suck the free safety up a little bit to cover the flats. That opens up your deep guys.
Yeah, and he's also a real nice short target, which I've always been. I want as many real short to long targets as I can have on the field at any time, because I don't like all the double teams. Like, if you got someone like Mahomes, you got 3 of your guys double teamed every single play. It's just a pain. That's also part of the running, though. You run it and you run it and you run it, and you don't stop until they start calling it, or at least they're putting some guys on the line so they're not getting just destroyed by it.
Your tight end options aren't being capped at like a 22-yard long. You've got guys that can go into the 40s and such. So that makes a lot of difference too when you're picking on guys on defense, strong safety, or the right linebacker who aren't good defenders.
Yeah, that Ingram card is actually really good. Fant is more like the consistent guy, which I like. I like them both. But that's a good bomb guard there for a tight end. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got double teams on it.
You know what's crazy is also he only averaged 10.4 yards a catch. He averaged 10.4 yards a catch, and his card looks more like a 13-yard average type of guy. I know the 6 and 7 on flat doesn't have as good a yardage, but all the other yardage on flat is not bad at all. And then you see the long pass card. So I don't know.
He's definitely the type of guy they split out and they just throw to him. I mean, him getting the 4 blocking even is probably a gift.
Yes. Should we be writing Strat a letter, Nathan? 10.4, sure. Evan Ingram overcarded.
Tell them to put a couple more yards on there, and they can take the 4 away.
There you go. Yeah, 9-15 deep. 9-15 deep with some double team completions.
Tell you, I was happy I didn't trade Morgan Moses during my rebuild, because that dude killed it today.
Yeah, at least 3 big blocks today, including, I think, one in a big drive in the second half. In a second 10, I think you're running and run. You got the offensive tackle 5 or 0. So I wanted to talk about again the team building, and like I've seen you for a few years now, at least 3 years, I'd say, maybe 4 years, in various leagues, do what I call competing on the cheap, where you're not going, guns blazing, throwing all your first and second round picks and getting the best ratings you can. But you look at this starting defense you have, and I'm saying to myself, find the high draft picks. Like Tremaine Edmonds, yes. Denzel Ward, yes. But there's a lot of these other guys, F.A. Obata, Brian Coward. I think Everson Griffin is either a holdover from a long time ago or you traded for him. Malik Reed, L.J. Ford, A.J. Klein. Donovan Wilson slipped in the 4th round. Taylor Rapp is probably more like a 3rd, 4th round type of guy. So you certainly haven't invested a lot of pedigree on this defense, the starting unit, and they end up winning a championship for you. And then even on offense, you've got Ike Bettinger, Alex Kappa, Tyron Johnston. We talked to the show about your fondness for those low reception, high average receivers. So an offense, I guess, 3 guys, you're not gonna have high picks everywhere, but there's a lot of guys, almost the entire defense, and a few guys on offense. And then Gardner Minshew, a quarterback, even though you got him with a late 1st round pick, he's not the type of guy that people think of as a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Strat leagues. So you really won the Super Bowl with a team that you did not, that wasn't loaded with tremendous talent, long term on the defense, particularly. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sometimes I almost think that when I have a team like this, I'm a better coach than when I have the totally stacked rosters.
I know exactly what you mean.
I've had much better, and I also maybe I just don't feel any pressure at all. Like I feel like what the hell, In
Exactly.
S28, I won with the Case Keenum card, and I went 15-1. I didn't expect that. And I had 4s in the secondary, and then I won last year with a kind of not that great Dak Prescott card. Kind of the same thing. The defense was I use it as a pass rush team, but sometimes I almost feel like you should just stick to the basics a little more. Run when they're not calling run, and pass when you've got matchups and they're not calling pass. And then on defense, if you can figure out what you think they're going to do, have the guys to be able to do something about it, and then that's it.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you
But
can think about
the cheap
Go ahead.
moves, yeah, for sure. Why wouldn't I, go add a 7 in the draft pass rusher instead of putting a 2 out there, And especially if I'm going to be a blitzing team, I don't want to just have a guy out there that's worthless. Those back I can live with, but the rest of it, no. And like LJ Ford, I could have traded him off, but when I decided I was probably going to be at least a playoff contender, I figured, and that guy's going to be a huge player on my team.
Yeah, I agree with what you say about especially on defense. I was just went 9-7 with my W team, which is poor in defense and all low carry fatigue running backs. And
That's hard to do.
It was and make faith for his quarterback. It was hard to do. If only I could have beaten the Raiders, Tim. I took them to overtime. I played Tim twice. I lost in the final 30 seconds the first time when he scored a field goal or something like that, and then I took him to overtime the second time. But
you probably found a lot of good matchups and took advantage of it. That's what the leagues are about,
Yeah, and on defense, though, like you said, it's well, what the hell? Might as well. I guess I'll free safety blitz here and bring the house, or I guess I'll double the hell everybody. I got to do something. So I do feel like I coach better with worse personnel than I do with good personnel. And I'm kind of wondering, and I'm not saying I'm going to do this with my SSFA team. Maybe I'm just saying that because I don't want to tip my hand, Nathan. But I'm kind of wondering, what? Maybe if I'm stacked on defense, I should still be super aggressive. I should still be double teaming and blitzing and this and that, and trying to seek out more negative plays. Not that I would stand around anyway, but maybe to say, try to be more aggressive even when you have good ratings, because I think a lot of us feel like our really stacked teams just never really do as good as we think they're going to do. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like sometimes when, last year in the playoff, my defense just got obliterated in that game.
SOMIFA or SSFA?
The SSFA.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that. I'm going to interrupt you just for a moment. In the last 7 months now, right? These leagues, you had a tremendous SSFA team. You had like
It was like an all-time great team for me, probably.
yes, that's what I'm gonna say. Like an all-time great SSFA team, lost in the first round of playoffs, and then this year you come in with Minshew and the zeros and fours all over the defense, no sixes, and they win the title. And that's that's like it's like how do you like you're happy to win the SOMIFA title, but you're like, well, how did that just happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, I kind of got like, it's not just that, oh, your team's good at this or that, or you like to do this, or you like to do that. I matched up against two very similar teams in the last two games. Two good coaches. I mean, I think that definitely Chicago had the better personnel, especially on defense. But I mean, they were driven by that running game. They wanted to throw, to certain guys for big plays only, but mostly there was going to be a lot of flat passing. There was going to be a lot of running. And,
Who did you play in the semis again?
Dallas.
I played Dallas.
That's right. Yeah.
Derrick Henry and Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Now, Matt Ryan's a lot better than Andy Dalton. He could definitely do some things, but when you have a certain offensive style, it is difficult to just change it up, and go just become a wide open short passing team in the middle of a game, especially, Jonathan Taylor's a zero pass block, and I will blitz the hell out of it. So there are some things that, if I'm lucky and I'm getting those rolls on the D card, which I got a good amount of them when I had the 2-minute zone, I don't recall a ton of them on the offensive card. That's almost not an option at all. Throwing flat to two zones, even if you're running guessed right on the D card, I'll take those losses, but you don't want to never be able to run right or run wrong on Taylor's card. So, I mean,
No.
it's kind of tough I'm actually surprised. I felt like I guess he got more big plays. I definitely felt like my defense was kind of lucky and working out well for me in that game. And I felt like it was a bad matchup for him to face like a 3-4 that could flood zones, call run, and then also bring the blitz if I wanted, if he did try to open it up a little.
I think this game is a good example of why having quality running back carries in depth really matters. You kind of used all the unfatigue for both Dobbins and Singletary, and yet you've got plenty of carries left at the end of the game. Your most important drive of your SOMIFA career was Gibson. So,
oh yeah, you would think that you wouldn't run out of carries sometimes, and you do. I've played games where I've run like 55 to 60 times, and I swear the guy was never going to call run, like a different coach, obviously different game and everything. But I mean, I'm not. If they don't want to call run, I'm just going to run. I mean, over and over and over, and then I'll mix some things in. Like I kind of liked the 3 wide option here and there, where he's not going to have a guy in the line bug zone very often. He's going to have a 4s and a 5 on the flats. And there's the one matchup where I actually had a 4 that was dangerous, and I actually got the bomb to him too during the game on the defender rating. I mean,
big touchdown in Marcus Johnson.
I like those situational formations and players and all that, and especially if you can set up more than one thing with it. Like, it also makes it a lot easier when you just want to go run the ball or just throw a look and pass. That there's not a 6 safety sitting there, or 2-minute zone, or that they're calling run. I mean, you gotta if you can do a lot of things out of those formations, and especially the scary stuff like the bomb you want to be able to get yourself a good matchup somewhere where at least they're worried about it.
Especially when you've got a free safety 6 like he has, you want to kind of find out what he's going to do and force him away from your flat pass game.
Yeah, you want to force him to try to do something, and then you want to force him to stay back there. It's kind of funny.
It was something crossed my mind when you had a 3rd and 1 situation. I think the second half of the game. Well, that's not neglect here. We're talking to Nathan, of course. That Brad played that Brad had a great season, 11-5, made the Super Bowl. He's had a talented team for a few years. Finally got there and was very close to winning the championship and could have won the championship. We don't have Brett on right now. I don't think we've ever had him on for one of these shows, and we're used to talking to Nathan. So, Brett, if you're listening, congratulations, you did a great job as well, and definitely
He
could have
whipped
won. It was
me in
a highly
fourth
competitive
quarter
Super Bowl.
game too.
Say what?
And I played the last two coaches I played. They thrashed me. I mean, he only won by 10, but it didn't feel that close in the fourth quarter game we played. And
Okay.
Zed thrashed me in the first quarter game we played. So
it was a rematch, the revenge,
Yeah.
the revenge trip.
Revenge specialist.
That's right.
His
But
Minshew's got a problem with people when they beat him.
That's right. He's got chip on his shoulder. It's like Jim Harbaugh. But something came to mind for me. You had a 3rd and 1, I think, in the third quarter. I'm not sure. The 3rd and 1 somewhere in the second half of the game, I'm pretty sure. And you went 3 wide with 1 halfback. Now, he's got no linebacker 6s. And I was like, this is interesting to me because if he wants to run, he's got to run key. And then he cannot flood any flats. He's going to give you the looking wide open. And if he calls pass, then he's praying for a white die 1 because otherwise, even then you might get it. Otherwise, you're getting the first down. So
even with that, Gibson's got. Go ahead.
Decent. +1 units.
He's got like 21 +1 units, I think, off tackle and linebacker. Guess right.
There you go. So did you feel? I know you might guess right. So did you feel coming in, or just in general, you willing to go 3 wide on 3rd and 1 because it puts the defense in such a tough spot, particularly if they don't have a linebacker 6. They have a linebacker 6 against the pass somewhere. It's not as hard for them, I would say, particularly middle linebacker maybe. But
that particular formation in that, especially in those short yardage, anything from 2nd and 4 to 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, 3, whatever. That's like a horrible spot for his defense for how good it is. I mean, it's a matter of, do you guess right or do you guess wrong? I can throw a flat to anyone or look in. I mean, 2 4s and a 5.
Yeah, and let's face it, the flat pass right, flat pass guessed correctly is hardly a terrible play for the offense.
No, it's a really good play.
If you need like 6 yards or fewer, as you said.
I can run Gibson, or I could run Minshew, even if I was really worried about a key, I suppose, and get a yard. I mean, 21 out of 36 times just guessed right.
Yeah, I brought that up in the broadcast. Like I was like, 3rd line Minshew here, 2 to 7 to first down, even if the defense calls run.
So, and of course, you can always throw a bomb. Now, it's not a great play percentage-wise, but it's a big play. And while he's only got like 5 or 6 combos guessed right, if he happened to be guessed right, he does have like 7 must runs with a pretty decent it's a nice little boost for, a situation like that.
Yeah, and people sometimes can overlook that for some of these guys who aren't known as quote unquote running quarterbacks, like Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think maybe last year, whatever, he had like 7 units, and 2 to 9 was like 4 yards or more. It's like, hey, I'm getting something here. That's not too bad. So similar to Minshew, there's a lot of guys like that. I don't know what Taylor Heinege's rushing average was this year, but I could see him being a guy like that.
Well, that's why I like the shadow. I mean, if you think that there is a pretty good chance they're going to throw short, are you better trying to guess the double team guy, or if they've got 10 units and 10 units of must run or 9 units of must run, and they go to 1 all the way down to 10 or something. I mean, you're probably going to make more plays with that linebacker than you will trying to figure out the double team.
Yeah, the only problem that I feel there is that, I mean, unless you're doing it against a guy like Lamar Jackson, who have 4 is plus 35 or something. The only problem there is you're still sitting up. They're still getting like a 4th and 1. So I guess depending on what part of the field they're at and what.
Well, I'm talking about on like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2.
Oh, I got you.
If you want to actually, if you're thinking this may be a short pass, which a lot of people do that. I've seen a lot of tendencies in the 3rd and 3 to 4 range, people stop. The flats go way down. I mean, they'll still do it a lot, but they'll definitely, if they want to throw, sometimes they'll go short because people
Yeah,
flood
everyone's
down the ball run.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Sure. So
I mean, it doesn't come up. I don't do it a lot, but there are definitely quarterbacks, definitely spots, and I love to have that 6 linebacker on the goal line in short yardage.
goal line's great. Absolutely.
Just to have on the line to be a pain in the butt, and then also some of those quarterbacks in some of those spots are really useful.
Yeah. One thing.
People don't really expect it to happen either.
One thing I like about those good inside linebacker run ratings as well is you get a fair number of second 11s. You pop the guy up there, linebacker off tackle, -1 or +4 on like a 6, and second 11. Oh, there we go. That's they really do a lot of utility, and I think we've seen in the last 2 years, I'd say particularly, a lot of the guys in this SOMIFA family of leagues going for it, playing inside linebacker 0-5, for example, and being comfortable with it.
Last year, I had Todd Davis, who was a 5 against the run inside, and David Mayo, who's a 0-6. And always on 3rd and 5 or 6, I'd leave Mayo in. He's the guy I wanted the game. He's got more value there. And to the point Tom made earlier about the second 11s popping up, I believe it's like 8 chances of linebacker being what comes up off the D cards. When you do a linebacker, if the linebacker's in zone, it comes up a lot. And on those 2nd and 4s to get a -1, it's a huge play. -1 or +4, it's a first down or it's 3rd and containment. So
and very tough to call a draw on 2nd and 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, in the short yardage, I mean, you can put the 1 linebacker instead of the 2, and you're going to make a lot of those plays that the second linebacker gives you. The linebacker will just be the linebacker in zone instead of the automatic minus. But the guy's still going to make the same plays a lot of the time. I mean, looks like that off tackle zone, linebacker in zone, it's going to be a -2 anyway. You don't even need the second guy there.
If I'm not mistaken, all the linebacker in zone, linebacker off tackle are minus or 0 at best. There's no, you make the play and it's +2 or +1. You get a complete stop when you get those.
That's kind of what happens on the end run there. I think there's only like 1 stuff by the D end. Yeah, it looks like on 3. And a lot of them, it's like, well, yeah, the defensive end can stop me for 11 or for 2 or for 1. I mean, I'm still getting those yards. You got to have the linebacker in there. You got to have zones plugged, or if you're willing to run outside, it's actually a pretty good play. Guessed right, even.
I'm sure quite a few times this year, because we both had 0 outside linebackers. I had one last year. I'd slide my middle linebacker over to the right linebacker zone. I expected you to do that a lot with Johnson or Ford to cover for AJ Klein over there.
Yeah, definitely against the right running backs for sure. And plus, even if you're just kind of just guessing if they're good to all the zones, they're not always. It's pretty tough to run a draw or then run toward where a 6 linebacker normally is sitting. You have to really think that guy's not going to be there for some reason to do that. Otherwise, it's just you're just hoping for the D card, and it doesn't really matter where you run at that point. And
talking strategy related to that, which wasn't a factor in this game because of the personnel, but I've seen guys who have a Demario Davis or a Leonard Marshall or Leonard Marshall, Darius Leonard. Who have a Demario Davis or a Darius Leonard type of guy, an outside linebacker, and they'll just like leave him there like the entire game. And I feel like you're kind of wasting the guy. It's good to leave him there. You feel safe, but the other guys just feel like, well, I can run and runs there, or when they don't want to throw flat the 6-2 off him, maybe on a 2nd and 2 or 3, I could do it. And it's like, why not move the guy around a little bit? Maybe double team them every now and then, or bring him into the air runner off tackle every now and then. So he's a little more part of the game as opposed to just shutting down the one zone. It's nice to shut down the one zone, but you don't have to leave there 100% of the time. Like every now and then move him.
Well, you're just doing that once in a while. You put it in their head. They might actually throw to that guy once in a while and get exactly what you want,
Exactly.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I wanted to mention earlier before I forget was you mentioned that if a guy gets the pass, he's going to run it, and throw an occasional pass, but pretty much run predominantly. So tonight, 48 carries. I think in a situation like that, your reputation helps you a lot because you're known as a guy who likes to throw the bomb. And I'm not saying you throw a ton of bombs, but I don't know where you are in the league rankings over the years, but you certainly throw, I would say, your fair share of bombs. So I think that makes guys more reluctant to call run. And I feel like I know myself, if I look at the last year in the minor league or so, I've tried to run more and also throw more bombs because that formula kind of works. Like if I'm running, running and throwing bombs, guys are scared to call run more if you've got some dangerous personnel that can pull off a successful bomb. And then when you're running yes wrong more often. And you're keeping the safety pin back.
I think that whatever you're showing me that you're just going to let me do, that's the best thing I can do. I'm going to do that, whatever that is. If it's throw 10 bombs in a row, I'll do it. If you sit there and flood zones and call run, I'm throwing bombs. Like I might throw shorts too, but if you give me a 4 or a 0 or something and you're just going to do a lot of that, or you're going to double like all over the place when if you got a 6 free safety and you've got 4s across the board in coverage and you double every play, you're going to see some bombs because I'm going to make you pay for that. And it's not always going to pay off, and it is high risk, high reward, but it's definitely risky business doing that. 0 men in zone with 4s and things like that.
Absolutely.
That's when you see me throwing bombs and too much. If they're squatting on too many things, if they're trying to flood the zones on 3rd and 6 and things like that, then you're definitely going to see some more of that. And I feel like it's just a necessary part of the game, really.
It was
But
0 men in long zone. The turnover not all that huge. A jump from flat with 2 men or a short with 4 men.
And they're long gains instead of 28 yards or whatever. You're getting big plays.
Of course, the old heartbreaker though, it always hurts as an offensive coach when you get that 4 defender extra long gain and he makes the play. I know they make 1/3 of the plays, but it's like I got the matchup I wanted. I kind of got the role, but I got that goddamn white die 4.
It's been several years, if I'm not mistaken, since the number 1 seed in SOMIFA actually went on to win the title. So congratulations on the best regular season and the best postseason.
I think I'm the number 2 seed because Ed also beat me in the 4th quarter. I lost 2 of my last 4 to Ed and Chicago to Brad. But so he was a 1 seed. I was a 2.
Okay, yeah, let's get Dennis to edit that part out, what I just said then.
Yeah, that's right. All right, guys, tremendous job, Nathan. You got anything else you want to say, Nathan or Tim? You have any questions? I think we're probably ready to wrap up here.
I enjoyed working with you, Tom. I think we had a really fun Super Bowl to work with, and congratulations to both Nathan and Brad.
Yeah, you guys been in the hard, Nathan. This is probably the fastest Super Bowl in SOMIFA history. The first 3 quarters were 45 minutes. I said this is not Tom Cook and Michael Reeves playing here.
I thought about that a couple times, but I was feeling the rhythm. I was thinking that you guys were probably enjoying the back and forth scoring. So,
Tom,
exactly.
Did you negotiate for us to get paid by the job or by the hour? Hopefully by the job.
Yes, by the job, absolutely.
Thank you.
Now, I actually think that our regional backgrounds, Tim, I think favored me when it comes to the fast-paced game. The fast-talking New Yorker versus the more relaxed Texas style. I'm a little more geared for the rapid fire. I don't know how'd you feel about that, Tim?
Yeah, I've probably got a more deliberate style for sure. It was a great game to watch, though. We had plenty going on. There really weren't as many sideline conversations as in a normal broadcast, just due to the fact the game was moving at a fast pace, and it was kind of important.
Tim, you do a real good job to play with. I was just teasing about the, different the speed of talking or whatever. So it's not always a blessing.
Runs in this game too. That's probably part of it. By both teams.
Yeah,
he ran a lot too. I mean,
yeah. Tim mentioned that. Tim mentioned earlier. Do you know how we called the game, Anthony? I didn't watch it, of course, because we just did it. But did you see the comment that we were going to alternate?
Yeah, you're going to alternate quarters or something like that.
Yeah. So we were both calling the game with one play-by-play guy, one color, and then Tim was play-by-play the first and third, and I was play-by-play the second and fourth.
Yeah, like when I was doing color, Tom was like, and he drops back and throws a long pass and I would jump in the green field, So
Yeah, that's true. I didn't give Tim much of a chance. In that fourth quarter, I give Tim much of a chance for color. I think I was.
I
I
will
was
say this
enjoying
was
watching the
actually
game. So
one of my more conservative teams I've ever played with on offense. As far as just looking at my own tendencies, third down, I ran a lot on third and pretty long. I didn't really put the ball at risk too much, I guess.
So we've had some. Is it 2 of the last 3 now? SOMIFA championship winning quarterbacks with Minshew and was it Marcus Mariota 2 years ago?
Sounds
With
right.
Zeb. Well, a couple years ago, Zeb won with Mariota, right, against Trubisky. And then, of course, famously, Tim winning last year with his backup quarterback. Who's that guy again, Tim?
yeah, he played pretty well in that game, but he did not play well over the course of the season last year. And Russell Wilson had an amazing game against me that day too. But
The 50
yeah, Mahomes
touchdown.
saved
Patrick
his
Mahomes
one
card.
game in the sun for the right moment for that.
And yeah, Nathan, could you repeat that?
The 50 touchdown Patrick Mahomes card.
Yeah, the 50 touchdown backup quarterback that Tim won the Super Bowl with. Who was, Prescott was upset.
The more removed I've gotten from the preseason evaluation of that team, there's no doubt I feel like Prescott's the better quarterback for my team for that year. He had way better flat and the must runs, the 2 end runs, which were excellent. If I were to go back and replay that season, it would be very similar in that I'd play Prescott most of the games.
No, I could see looking at those 2 cards. I could definitely see playing Prescott. Actually, it's just kind of funny to say that Patrick Mahomes is my backup quarterback in the 24.
Well, that's knowing what you want to do and matching them with your personnel. I mean, that's what we were talking about for a while.
But then you also saw in the Super Bowl, I think your opponent might have had some linebacker 6s or something. But the Super Bowl, you said, no, I want to go short, long more. Mahomes is the guy. Is that what happened there last year?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the overall strategy since it's Dennis is a good friend and one of the best defensive coaches I know, but it was more of a specific strategy when you're going against somebody that good with I don't want to over evaluate his defense on the air, but no, it was a Dennis specific kind of feeling, really.
I got you.
Could use
and this game before was very similar with Jay. Jay's an excellent coach, and I just felt like Prescott was the right man for that particular game.
I basically cannot beat Jay in a modern game. Basically, I never beat, especially in the playoffs. But I think I might have been in the regular season recently in one of these games. But for the most part, he owns me in the modern games, and a lot of
his rebuilding team.
And I never beat Dennis in a playoff game in the modern league, even though I was undefeated. I was 16-0. He was 9-7.
Yeah, now if you think Jay's good in the modern game, you should see him in the retro leagues. He had a dominant team that lost like 6 games over a 3 or 4 year span, picked up a title, started a new league, won 3 of the first 4 titles. So he's not bad in those kind of leagues either.
Yeah, no, guys like Jay and Dennis. I mean, yeah, that's what makes it also the 2 of you guys now. We get the last 2 now, the reigning and previous SOMIFA champions. That's what makes these championships so extra precious, is because you got to play against you got to Jay's there and Dennis is there and Ed is there, and we see what Zeb does, and then of course you 2 guys and other guys who are good coaches. It's just from a coaching standpoint, it's just hard. I mean, when you make the Final Four, it feels like 9 times out of 10, like Ed, Dennis, and Jay are all there. So
I've lost Dennis and Paul in the Final Four in this league, and then in the spring SSFA like so many times. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think I lost twice to John Madden in the Final Four, and I was going to bring up, I believe Zeb was part of the broadcast team after his championship. I'm part of the broadcast team this year, so get ready, Nathan. You'll have a job next year.
Hopefully, I have time.
Wait, Tim. Does that mean that I get? Does that mean that I get to make the Super Bowl next year on SOMIFA?
Perhaps.
with Sam Darnold.
Oh, you
59.8. Doesn't look good, Nathan.
Just go trade. Go get yourself a. I won one with last Donovan McNabb card, that Case Keenum card. I mean,
I don't think my team. I don't think a team would be that great. I'll probably go the other way, Nathan.
well, your
I may,
team
I
doesn't
may,
have to be that great.
I may have to pick up one of those lousy quarterbacks in next year's draft. We'll
Yeah,
see.
that'd be all right.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting. Tom, how many quarterbacks did you say would have NFL starter status at the moment that are going to be in this draft?
I think 7.
How many of those do you think would
If
still have their job as the starting NFL quarterback in, say, 6 years? That's the thing you have to really factor in drafting quarterbacks so early. They look great now when you haven't turned over any cards, but then you turn over a 2, a 4, a 9. Okay. Yeah. So
You know what really makes the Minshew win special is that I passed on Kyler Murray and took Bosa.
Oh.
I'm feeling
there
really
you go.
good about that right now.
yeah.
Not
There you
just
go.
Nathan and I've talked. Nathan
but I
has a
don't feel
philosophy
that great about Kyler Murray right now at all.
Interesting. It's interesting you say that because Joe Daly and I think that draft already did the Somsa draft already happen?
No, not yet.
Never mind. Okay, I won't reveal anything. But if the Houston guy, is it Davis Webb III? Is that his name? If the Houston guy is starting come Labor Day 2022, only 7 months from now, Nathan. So start doing your draft prep. You're going to have Matt Jones is 1, Zach Wilson is 2, Davis Webb III is 3, Trevor Lawrence is 4. Let's see.
Trey Lance.
Well, I'm going division by division here. Jordan Love could be a 5th. Let them out for a minute. Let him at the end if Rodgers departs by hook or crook. Let's skip him for now. But Justin Fields is 5. Trey Lance is 6. So 6 guys, 5 guys definitely. 6 guys if Davis Webb III is starting, which I think he might be. They have a new head coach, so who knows? But 5 guys definitely. 6 if Webb is starting. 7 if Jordan Love is starting. So
you saw that Murray unfollowed the Cardinals and deleted all the content involving Cardinals pictures and all that.
Did he really?
I don't know what's going on. I know that he was not looking good down the stretch for I heard who's that old Steelers fullback or running back does a lot of NFL analysis?
Merrill Hodge.
Yeah. He had a really good interview talking about I think the Niners originally played a certain type of defense against him and gave him a hard time, but they actually ended up winning the Cardinals 21-15 or something in that first game. But since then, the next team to try it, it was the game before Detroit when he was talking about this. He had a hard time and lost, and then he went out and lost to Detroit. And I really started paying attention, and he has not looked good at all. He really has seemed to struggle after just being on fire early. And
so
Merrill Hodge said he doesn't know how they're going to adjust to it. Basically, that this defense they've been playing against them is a real pain in the butt, and they don't know that there's anything that they can. I mean, they have to come up with something, but they haven't yet that I've seen.
It's the Kyler killer.
Mahomes struggled for a month with 2 deep coverage, so he finally adjusted. But
I wasn't.
Awful.
I wasn't too worried about the Mahomes stuff. I mean, and the whole Chiefs thing. I felt like that was kind of crazy. People were like, the Chiefs aren't the same, and I'm like, let's wait. No, it's a long season. The 49ers in the '80s every now and then would start out 3 and 4 or something like that, and not be dominant early, and yet they were there when the bell rang, a lot more times than not in January. So Nathan, with Kyler Murray unfollowing a lot of Cardinal stuff on Twitter, how do the Oakland A's feel about that?
Well, I thought about that actually. I mean, that if he's that mad, who knows? I mean, it could happen.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm just a conspiracy nut. I mean, I definitely.
Are you?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't feel too. I feel better and better about passing on a guy like that. That I just have been so. I was so nervous about him in the first place that I'm feeling better. especially with Bosa being as good as he's been.
You talked about mentioned next year's quarterback draft class. I've got the 5th pick overall. I need a young quarterback. I am not. I have not. I mean, I've only done a cursory look at most of these guys. I am not exactly chomping at the bit to draft a lot of these guys.
Nathan and I had a good discussion about this, and I totally agree with his assessment. I think it was a year ago or so that it's easier to trade for a quarterback than to draft and develop one.
Absolutely. What I did before I got, I traded up to get Andrew Luck, and everyone knew he was supposed to be really good. It wasn't like, oh, he's a sleeper. You know what I'm saying? But my philosophy before that, a couple years, like I forget when I did it, but you know what? I'm just going to constantly draft the best player available, build up as much talent as I can, and then like when the right quarterback is there, I'll trade up to get the right quarterback. Like you said, as opposed to it's easy to trade a whole bunch for a guy that you know is good than I'm going to draft this guy and maybe he's good and maybe he's not. Maybe like Tim. Remember when Carson Wentz was in the draft, I was huge on Carson Wentz. I had him over Prescott, which has not turned out to be the case. And it's like, Carson Wentz, you would have thought after his second year, he's going to be real good, and it hasn't worked out. He's at best going to be okay next year, and that's like his best year in like 3 years. But he's not a guy that I think you feel confident with as your quarterback right now.
No.
Even if you're a guy who has a lower level of like I got a pretty low bar for what I want out of a franchise quarterback. I don't need the guy who's the MVP level guy. I kind of want a guy who's just going to be like at least decent for 10 years. Like the Cincinnati Andy Dalton, I would have kind of been okay with for almost all of his career. They'd be like, all right, he's not great, but he's all right. I don't have to worry about the position, kind of. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I liked Wentz for about not only before the draft with Prescott going too, but I also liked Wentz better through about 2.5 years. Be quite honest with you, during the second and most of the third year, I thought Jared Goff was better than Prescott. But long term, it's obviously gone the other direction. Prescott's kind of he's improved or stayed steady most years, where it's hard to see Goff and Wentz being much more than 60% that they're going to be starting in the NFL 3 years from now. Neither one of them are really on solid ground at the moment.
That's true. Nathan, what do you think about that? About whether you feel like, well, you just won the Super Bowl, didn't you? Whether you feel like and look, we all would love to have, and Nathan's got him in the spring, and when you've got him in the fall, Tim, we don't love to have Patrick Mahomes. Or right now, you'd love to have Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert, let's say, if he continues playing real well. Obviously, that's the ideal. But if you're not able, for whatever reason, to get that guy, how do you feel about accepting a much lower level guy who's at least a starter and is not awful? Would you have been comfortable with the Cincinnati Andy Dalton for those 8 years where he was their quarterback and playing okay? Nathan?
I mean, it's going to be card style, team style, all that stuff. Like, you can build around anyone who's decent. If you play good D and you run the ball, you can put a couple of receivers around a guy. I mean, some of my best offenses I ever had was with Joe Flacco in SSFA. I had a lot of guys around him, and he threw for over 40 touchdowns, I think, or somewhere around there in one of these seasons.
That team was stacked. They played in the Super Bowl. He got injured in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he
was able to win. To get you Darren McFadden, I believe, one of his great running.
The Darren McFadden 55-yard touchdown that got called back on a penalty back in the good old days.
And I think you had a receiver who had like a 20-yard average.
I had some receivers. I had Vernon Davis in his prime, and I had Darren McFadden was a great receiving running back. I had like three guys catch like 100 passes or something like that. Yeah,
you had a really big deep threat wide out. I think I had like Brandon Lloyd had some sick card for the Broncos or something. For the Broncos or something like almost around a 20-yard average.
The Niners card, actually.
Maybe
Brandon Lloyd one.
You're probably right. But yeah, I remember that too.
I remember that card. I was scared of it.
And we were both those two teams were both stacked. We both had
Yeah.
like guys all over the place. You could do all kinds of things.
Kenny
So,
Britt. That might have been the big player.
Kenny Britt. There you go. That's a name I haven't thought of in a long time.
Yeah.
Kenny Britt from Rutgers, I believe.
Yep. He was a knucklehead, if I recall, too. He was always doing something.
I think you're right. I think his career was a little shorter than it could have been on account of that. And then not that he had not that he only played like 3 or 4 years. He played probably 7 or 8 years, but he was a knucklehead. So like those guys, just like T.O., it's like they'll put up with it when you can play real well. Now, not that
He wasn't
anywhere
like
near
doing
T.O., but
he wasn't doing
no.
some of like I don't think he was like beating the hell out of people or anything like that.
No.
He was just like some trouble.
Yeah, exactly. But so it's like, yeah, even so on his level, it's much less than a T.O. level in terms of being a pain in the ass. But if you're a pain in the ass, once you start dropping off, they don't want you anymore. Like once you start dropping off at all, you just give them an excuse to get rid of you. So Kenny Britt's not going to get the benefit of the doubt because he's not, compared to Emmanuel Sanders. It's like, it's like Emmanuel Sanders, like he'll be like 34, and he's like, yeah, we still want him.
Well, at
Kenny
a certain
Britt's
point, they're supposed to be the leader, and the value comes in them
exactly
showing the next group.
Yeah, and it's amazing how I always think about this, how some guys can change so much from 23 to 30, because look at Pac-Man Jones. He was the poster boy for you don't want this guy on your team. He's getting in trouble. Nobody wants him. He's suspended. And then
Jerry
like when he's
Jones hired the security detail to go around with him, and he ended up fighting with him and getting kicked off the team.
and then when he's like 28, 29, he like resurfaces as like a nickelback or something with the Bengals, and he's like all of a sudden he's like a veteran leader, and he's like Mr. Responsibility over there for like 4 or 5 years. And guys change. I mean, I'm not saying that these guys. I'm not trying to excuse some of the things that these young guys do, but you think about yourself when you're 21, 22. I mean, when you compared to when you're 30, or whatever. I mean, if I was
just get handed a bunch of money.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you've been and you've been feted since you were 14 years old because you've been a great athlete the whole time. If I've been a great athlete from all of high school through all of college, everyone's treated me special and different. Now you're throwing millions of dollars at me, and I'm 21, 22. I'm on my own. Mom and dad are home. I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of fun. I'll tell you that much. You're not tethered
to the.
Good.
I just say you're not tethered to the guiding elements that you've had your whole life. You're like, okay, I've been more successful than mom and dad. I'm making more money than mom and dad. Why should I be listening to mom and dad? So.
Well, those thoughts don't enter your head. It's just like, I have this. You can basically pretty much do whatever you want. So it's like, if it comes into your head and you're still impulsive, I'm going to go do it. You're not 35 getting that money.
Yeah, sometimes adversity is the best thing for a person, whether you know or not.
Yeah,
tell that to Henry Ruggs.
So pampered. I mean, anything they've done just about in high school or college has been whitewashed, and you see that continue in the NFL. I mean, you're almost always welcome back to the team, regardless. I mean, it has to be pretty extreme.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Or if they lock you up long enough, then you can't come back to the team. Yeah. Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, Henry Ruggs. Okay, you only broke one leg. Is it still attached? Okay, then we'll re-sign you once you get out of jail. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but he'll be in jail for a while, I think. So he might be done. So.
Yeah.
We'll see. He was a guy I liked a lot too. I told him after you got him. Huh. So what do you think about SFA team? They think I'll do it? I'll finally do something with this team, or
that team's pretty scary. I made a trade, one last trade in SSFA.
Oh no!
Last night.
I hope you want future.
I helped Dennis out and myself. So I'm sure you're all thrilled to hear that.
What'd you give Dennis?
I traded him Jared Cook. It's a pretty good card, and he needed a better tight end.
I was upset when Mick gave when Mick traded Dalvin Cook to Jay. I was upset with that deal because I inquired about Dalvin Cook. He's like, well, I'm already probably trading him, and I really like what I'm getting. And I'm like, well, all right. Well, here's what I would give you. And I think it was offering like a 1 and 2 threes. And he was like, yeah, he's like, yeah, it would take substantially more than that. And then he makes his deal. And I'm like, my offer was better than the deal that you said was substantially. I would have had to give substantially more.
You always say that, and I'm always skeptical. I'm pretty sure when I traded for LaShawn McCoy from Tim, you were carrying on the same way, and I think that worked out pretty good for him.
You said, well, yeah, but you're saying I always say what?
That, I would have done better than that, or I was willing to, and I don't know. Where's the...
No, but I was in those conversations, though. I was in a Sean McCoy conversation, and I was in a Dalvin Cook conversation. I made him the Dalvin Cook offer. I offered him 1 and 2 threes, and he told me I got to give him significantly more than that, and he really likes what he's getting. So I'm like, well, he said like he really liked what he's getting so much that it's almost like I'm wasting my time trying to offer. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. I'm. What was the is it SSFA? I got to look now.
He got a late one, Michael Hughes and Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon's a good back, though. That's the thing, is he probably values Joe Mixon an awful lot more than you do.
He's not gonna have a good card.
Not this year.
Not next year either.
I don't know. He's been pretty consistent. Other than this year, he's had several really good cards.
That's right. With what type of with what type of passing game?
A deep passing game where they run a lot.
Well, wait a minute. Before no. The Joe Mixon cards came when the Bengals passing game was not as good, was not anywhere near what it is now.
Well, do you think then in that sort of related subject, I have traded in SOMIFA for Miles Sanders from Dennis and in SSFA for Boston Scott from Dennis, both on Philly. Do you expect them to have real strong running cards next year?
I got to look at standard stats, but I believe he will. Joe Mixon averaged 4.1 yards, and I love Joe Mixon as a player. I'd love to have him I'd like to have him on my team. I think he's real good, but he averaged 4.1 yards a carry in Joe Burrow's offense. You tell me he's going to get a really good card next year?
He's got 13 touchdowns. So it doesn't hurt.
How many did Aaron Jones have a couple of years ago when Jay was complaining about his guess right card? I don't know. 4.1.
And Mixon, Miles Sanders doesn't have like a 80-yard long. They've got like 30-yard longs this coming cards.
No, I Joe Mixon's a really good NFL player. I like him a lot. I just don't think his cards will be good next year, and his cards not good this year. So I don't know.
Guess we'll see. His career stats are, I don't know that his numbers are that different.
That's different than whose?
Than himself and some of the types of cards he's got. I also seem to see.
But the passing game the Bengals passing game in those seasons was not the Joe Burrow passing game of this year. That's what I'm saying.
No, I totally understand what you're saying, and it's a good point.
And if the Bengals are going to throw for 5,000 yards a year now, it's going to be hard for Mixon to get the type of cards he was getting with Andy Dalton and John Kitna. Well, maybe he's going to go back as far as John Kitna, but
sometimes you get a Lamar Jackson card with a Gus Edwards card. You never know.
Well, I think that team runs the ball so much that factors into it as well.
He might not stay at 4.1 either. He might jump up to 4.9 with the respect Burrow's going to get in the future.
Yeah, he's going to have to. But Sanders at 5.3. Yeah, he should get a real good card probably. But like Tim mentioned, 82 long. But I would say, yes, this team threw the ball more than I thought. 663 dropbacks to 403 rushes. So you got to factor that into it as well.
Is that the current season you're looking at, or you're looking at last year?
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, Sanders didn't have a very long this year.
I like Sanders. I like Mixon too. I'm just saying. Sanders 5.5 average. This team ran the ball as much as they threw it. You're damn right. You're damn right. He's gonna have a great card.
About Boston Scott.
Mm-hmm. Boston Scott 4.3 along of only 23. He should have a good card as well.
And they ran a lot. I'm really hoping that those are some good cards.
They will be. They will be. I promise you. The Sanders card particularly will be excellent. How about Dernis Jackson, Nathan?
Who?
Ernest Jackson.
Oh
Sure,
yeah,
that's-
yeah. He's got a good short yardage card, doesn't he?
Well, he fumbles on the current card, but for next year, weekend that Ernest goes to camp.
I liked looking at your roster the other day, and I just saw a ton of running backs. That made me happy because you know what you want to do, and you're definitely going to do it.
He's got for next year. Mayfield completed only 60.5% of his passes. I think it was 61.5%, and he had 100 carries for a 5.3 average, the longest of 30. So he should get a good running card. I'm not saying he's gonna be great, but I traded to get him in the 4th round because I'm like, to me, like when I was preparing for the draft, I said this guy should have a good running card next year. Cleveland runs the ball a lot. Mayfield is not going to be good. So they 5.3 average, 100 carries. There you go.
Yeah, what I paid to get Boston Scott, I could have waited a whole round or two and gone and got him for next year.
It'd be nice if I got his last name right. I keep saying Ernest Jackson. It's Ernest Johnson. So with him and McCaffrey, at least I got the makings of a decent 2 guys. I got another guy next year because McCaffrey doesn't play full seasons anymore.
I got to give you some props on Cooper Kupp, by the way. You were in love with him, and now he's killing it. And as a Rams fan, I was actually not. I mean, I liked him, but I was kind of irritated with him a lot when he was a rookie. Felt like he dropped a lot of balls in big spots.
He did drop some balls, and even he dropped the ball in the playoff game against the Niners, I think. So I mean, he drops more balls than a guy with his reputation or style. Well, let's be honest. I don't want to bring race into it, but everyone assumes that the wide receivers catch everything. They're in there because of the hands or whatever. I mean, that's what a lot of people stereotypically think, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be that guy, but that is what a lot of people think. And we're not on ESPN, so I'm not going to get fired or canceled or whatever the hell it is. But yeah, but no, it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking about our conversation with him and Amari Cooper last year or whatever. We had a conversation about that. I traded him in IW though, and I had a hunch not to trade him.
I wasn't going to bring that up,
but I had a hunch not to trade him. But I still feel like, you know what? Even though I traded him in that league, that team is still like not ready to compete. I still got 2 good receivers, even though they're not going to have great cards. And you need defense in that league.
Well, not only that, but it's been such strong receiver classes.
Exactly.
It doesn't seem to be stopping. So, if there's a time that you can get something for a guy, it's not a bad time to do it. I mean, trying to get Valdez Scantling from Dennis and SOMIFA just because I like that big play bomb type card. But he's, dragging his feet on it. I'm not. I don't think he's worth a 3rd round pick just because of this draft class.
3rd round pick.
That's what he wants for him.
Yeah,
the 4th.
Yeah, I had liked him a bit when he came in the league as a deep threat, and he's done that pretty well. But and it's tough. I mean, Dennis is a shrewd trader, and he's not going to give away a good card cheaply. You know what I'm saying?
He's doing a nuclear rebuild in that league too.
In what league? SOMIFA?
Yeah. Except for he's keeping Russell, I guess. I don't know. He can't bring himself.
He's not going to trade Russell.
No, he's traded all the other stuff. So.
Maybe if you like tears his ACL and gets traded to the Giants.
He's probably going to go win like 7 or 8 games because he's going to have Russell and he's going to. Although that card's not. That Russell Wilson card, the short guess wrong is just weird to me. It's just not good. I'd be mad if I had that card.
Yeah, well, Dennis is always happy with he's always happy to have Russell, but also always usually complaining with the long pass wrong card. He thinks he should have about 20 units over there, I think.
I was telling him, I go, you're complaining about the wrong thing. We were talking about this in some other league. His short pass wrong is trash.
Is 18 this year, I think.
Yeah, guessed wrong.
Yeah. That's Fitzpatrick. That's Fitzpatrick in here. I can't turn that into an adjective.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Before we get out, Jay had mentioned Roland Hooks might be the Roland you were thinking of. I actually think it was Johnny Roland, wasn't it? That you might.
No, I was thinking of Roland Hooks. I was thinking first I was thinking of Roland James. First, I was thinking of Roland Hooks, but I mentioned Roland James, who was a corner. Johnny Roland was the running back with the Cardinals, I believe, among other teams. He goes back further.
Oh, Zeb and
Colin,
Jay are still in here with us.
I know this is timestamp from hours ago.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't see that. I almost never click on that thing. If guys slack me during the broadcast, I don't know who's
Well, that's why I
listening
talked
this
about
far.
Marcus Johnson, because he had the big play. He had another big play. Yeah.
Yeah, Tim was talking about how you will pick up the low reception, high yardage receivers and how they're not expensive. You're going 4th round or later and getting these guys. You got Tyron Johnson like the 7th round or something, I think, in SSFA, right? Or 8th round.
Once you took who'd you take? Guyton?
Yes, I took. Yeah,
that started the clock for me. I knew there was a couple of. Actually, this Quintus Cephas guy, his card wasn't too bad. I even had him as a possible option in SSFA.
Yeah. I think
might have a little talent to him.
Yeah, he does have some talent. I think no long gains in his card. I think it's just straight yardage.
No, he's got some. I think he's got some long gains.
Okay, you would know better than me because you look at those type of receivers cards more close to that. A lot of times I don't even look at the card, look at the numbers. I should get away from that. But yeah, that pick I made of Guyton was a bit of a Nathan special. I mean, I needed a 3rd receiver.
That's what you got to do
for the year, and also for the future. And he had 31 catches next year, 14.3. So it's like, okay, I'm getting a 3rd receiver for this year because I would like the option of going 3 wide. I'll tell you one thing, it's not bad.
If you're going to do all these picks, all these, improve this, improve that, like you've got to get your situational stuff, or even just a guy that maybe he doesn't play that much, but against 2 or 3 teams, he's going to play a lot. You got to get those little moves. It's
well, I've got Derek Carr, and I've got 3 6s on the interior of my offensive line. So I mean, if I ever want to, and I've got like a guy like Ingram and even Latavius Murray. So I mean, if I ever want to do a 3 wide, like if you do have a 4 0 defensive back, and I got Guyton, it's like that's not a bad time to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I'm upset with Colton Miller. He's my only non-6 run blocker in the offensive line with there, Nathan.
It's like, getting a blocking back that can catch or keep you from getting sacked 100 times against certain teams or anything like that. The defensive ends with a little bit of pass rush. And
yeah, it's funny. You and I spoke, I don't know, maybe about a year and a half ago, and I started trying to run the ball more, and I was going blocking back with Patrick Ricard, and I was like, oh, the blocking back is so important. You're like, you're going the other way with this, But I realized last summer, that was only because I had those Christian McCaffrey cards that was so good and run right, that it's like, no, I feel like I want a good blocking back if I'm going to be end running a lot, and it's like I wanted to end run with McCaffrey, so that's why that block back was so important. Now it's like, yeah, I think that was kind of a particular situation for that particular running card.
I like the blocking back more for the actual blocking when you can get it, but definitely if you can get a pass catching blocking back
who can actually block.
People cannot double team that guy without leaving your outside guys open. They can't double those guys.
Free safety is the only guy that can double team
free
somebody in
safety
the back.
can double them just like the good catch, good reception running backs.
But you feel like you say a good receiving blocking back. Give me a guy that just has blocking back on the card, or a guy who can actually block.
Well, ideally it'd be both. I mean, I traded Cook to Dennis. I traded for Eric Ebron and a 6th round pick next year. And Cook definitely has a way better card. I mean, he's dangerous deep. But I mean, I have Kittle. I've got, pretty good receivers already. I want to be able to use that blocking back in full house situations. I want to be able to use him against the guy that just sits there and doubles with that outside linebacker over and over and over again on my receivers. And I want to be able to throw to a guy where he's going to be open because the free safety is not going to double him because he's just going to be on Kittle and he's going to be on, Thielen or Kupp or Tyron Johnson, whoever I play out there. So just making it harder on the defense to double team the right guy, it's a big deal. So they don't have to be great. If they're great, it's awesome because then you're talking about linebackers can't match up and all that. But with Cook on the left side, for me on the left side at second tight end, I've got pass rush issues if they're blitzing, and I've got any of my running backs in there and a 2 tight end. I've got the ability for them just to double team with their linebacker anytime they want, the middle linebacker, not even the outside guys, right? I mean, there's just too many situations that on offense I'm having to account for when I'm passing, even though the guy's a really good player, he's got a really good card, and I would normally never trade that. But I just wanted to have, I think that the top 3 guys I've got are good enough that I could put him in there and that he's actually going to make him better.
The blocking back, you mean?
Yeah, because he's a 5 pass blocker, which is a big bonus, and he's a pretty decent number of receptions. It's not great, but it's not bad at all.
Yeah, I hear everything. It's funny you mentioned the high reception running backs, or the good receiving running backs. I had McCaffrey when he had full season cards, and it's amazing. He gets doubled. He rarely catches even like 50 balls from me because he gets double teamed so much. You would think he was Calvin Johnson. It's like, oh, McCaffrey. He gets double teamed so much. It is crazy.
And it's so crazy. From the defensive back position, none of those are linebacker double teams.
But it just I swear to God, like I had him and Julio Jones like on a good Julio Jones Atlanta card, and I'm telling you, he would get double teamed more than Julio Jones. Whether you're talking about a safety on Julio, whether you talk about a safety or linebacker double team, it's just so crazy. Like you get like, all right, well, I can't throw to McCaffrey because he's getting double teamed like as if his card has got filled with long gains. It's like crazy.
Linebackers are all scared.
Yeah, and also the back of the head always got McCaffrey. He's going to throw it in because people know it's cool to throw. It's fun to throw to the receiver running back. But of course, it opens up other things to the rest of your offense. So it's almost like, hey, I'm fine with it. It just seems kind of bizarre to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had that going on a lot last year. Double teams on Miles Sanders. They look at the card, they see all those long catches, and he's great flat, and they're getting tons of free safety double teams on him, and Blake Jarwin's almost never getting touched. Like Nathan's talking about, he can't be double teamed by a linebacker. They look at that flat card, and they're like, okay. And so Jarwin gets rarely double teamed. Gets great matchups going against an outside linebacker.
Yeah, and they're doing it like, and I understand like the outside linebacker might be a 4, but their strong safety or their corner is also a 4, and you know what I mean, Nathan. I usually have pretty good receivers, and I'm like, man, they're letting me throw to like Brandon Cooks against a 4, so they can double team Christian McCaffrey. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
well, I think it's one more thing now. It's not.
Yeah, sure. It's great for me. It's good for me. It's just like kind of odd. And when I say good for me, it's like, you know what? I like McCaffrey. I like to throw the ball a little more. It's kind of fun. I like the player. I'm like, okay, I guess I can't do it as much as I'd like.
That's one thing actually about this league, SOMIFA. I don't think I didn't feel like I utilized DK Metcalf very well overall. I think I kind of maybe overused Tyron Johnson a little.
And it really hurt you.
Yeah. No, I guess maybe he did all right. Yeah, he only had 47 catches. I don't know.
It's hard to me. It's hard to get those high-end wideouts really going if you have a good team, because they get doubled a lot. Mostly because they get doubled a lot. They get doubled a lot, and they're going to double a lot, and you might be running the ball a fair amount. I mean, like Julio Jones, when I had him when I had him all those years in SOMIFA, I would say that he would probably usually catch between like 48 and 65 passes, and also sometimes I think because the guy's getting doubled, you're thinking, well, I'm not going to throw flat to Julio because they're double teaming because of his short long pass threat. So like on 1st and 10, on 3rd and 4, it's different, but on 1st and 10, I'm not going to throw flat to him because they're double teaming him for short and long.
Yeah.
So let me like save my targets to Julio when I think I can get him short or long. I'm not going to throw him a flat pass when I can, throw to somebody else who's not that much worse at flat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're going to luck into some double teams, not even trying to stop what you're trying to do.
Exactly. It's like I'll throw a flat to my lousy blocking back my second tight end, or my halfback not named Christian McCaffrey, so, and I'll get the 7-yard completion or whatever, Interesting stuff.
Definitely.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we'll wrap it up here. We've been on for a while. Good post game. Congratulations again, Nathan. I know it's a big one for you. SOMIFA's the big one. And Tim last year. Good broadcast, guys. Good quality game, Tim. And I'll see you, God knows when. I guess there'll be I don't know. We'll see if Dennis does a SA season preview. They're not doing as many shows nowadays, but we'll see. I've done a little bit lately, so we'll see.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Take care. See you later, Tim.
Congrats again. Thank you.
Adios, fellas. We're signing off. Bye-bye.
Hasta luego.